the Mary and Joe Show. It's exactly what it sounds like. Basically, sharing a bit of the Canna lifestyle with the coffee talk. You'll hear interviews, reviews on products, a bit of my own personal life experiences, and sharing on YouTube for over 10 years now, being active on the internet with my own chronic illnesses, and many interviews in the future, along with a dose of a normalcy. We are a community around the world, and I bring you this podcast to give you a normal place to enjoy your Mary and your Joe. I just realized I was on mute the whole time. I'm so sorry, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. So tonight, let me first off plug in my internet, because it's probably a really bad freaking stream right now. Sorry about that. We got completely distracted here. So like I was saying, I am starting this night off with some Yahimi indica and some it's grape jam with just a sprinkle of some of my orange creamsicle, which the orange creamsicle is pretty darn good, but let me see where we got. But it's not as fulfilling, I said, as the Yahimi, which is more of like a purple Urkel kind of flavor. Very grape flavor. Okay, so I found this old video in another channel that I had to make unlisted for your guys' viewing pleasure. And this is one of the oldest videos I have on the internet, related to YouTube. Next to my Katrina video, it's probably the oldest. Now, I didn't pluck my eyebrows back then. I had my natural hair. I was just newly living in California. I probably have a little accent. and I was a lot younger. So, with that being said, be generous, be kind with your comments. But we're going to review this, and I'm not 100% sure because I didn't completely review it. But it's an 8-minute long video. We're going to go as long as we can tonight, guys. And so make sure you, where did I put my joint? There it is. Make sure that you follow along with any of the links that I provide. They could be an unlisted link or however I describe it as we go tonight. So as you can see, this, let me look in here, my old YouTube channel, topic super depression, my response to a person speaking of depression video from 2006 to 2007. I wasn't aware now knowing what I know in 2012. See other recent videos to see why I posted this video in 2006, 2007. It shows how fast forward to 2012 I was doing what the doctor said and trying to feel better. I was educated on depression, but because it was the easiest diagnosis, for decades they said it's stress, it's anxiety, it's depression. Now, I still try to convince myself everything is okay, and you can see I looked fine. I was as positive as any life coach. That's funny. I had the spirit of encouragement from living with medically induced depression, with a mother dying of breast cancer, bone, and liver cancer for 9 years. I have the life skills because I didn't know how to think otherwise, but strength Hurricane Katrina gave me a second chance at life and an outlook on life. And just so you guys are aware, my son is possibly going to be coughing in the background. If you guys hear him, don't worry, he's going to sleep. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this video going. Like I said, I don't know 100% if I've said anything in here that might be alarming to anybody. So viewer discretion is advised. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen so I can just prepare you peoples for any trigger warnings here. Warning, some viewers may find this following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. All right, let's get this show started. As I said, I have a few videos we'll be replaying tonight, and some of the outlooks I have on the content are the same, some are not.
Hi, Superlunary. This is Rachel. Actually, Ray Love ID 1985.
Well, we can just say right now that the quality of this was like a 2% webcam, so get ready. 2 megapixels.
Anyway, I'm just kind of responding to your subscribe hi. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know I tried sending you a comment and it didn't work, so I'm just gonna go ahead and video it. It's easier. I saw your emo, the first one, I believe. I'm not sure.
And back in 2006, YouTube was a very different place, guys. It was like we were coming out of the AOL member dictionary days, and we were trying to communicate with one another on a video, not just in an email, not just on a chat form. So when you would respond to somebody on YouTube, it wasn't like you could put @ or hashtag. You would literally say their name and then send them the message with the link to the video in a private message. So those were the days.
And I totally can feel you. And I just saw your comments, or your comment video back, and I wish I could have been in the gang before, but I wanted to write you, and it just anyway. I wanted to let you know. I don't know if this will help you, but I'm somebody who tends to really look at things in a very unique manner. I've been living with depression since I was very young. 7, probably 6 or 7, to be honest with you. I've been on Prozac since I was 6, but it was off and on of that, and I've taken Lexapro, and now I've taken everything on the market. And for the last almost 5 years, I've been on and off, but more off than on, antidepressants. And the best way I can tell you is I don't know if you go to counseling. A lot of people are against that, but personally, for me, it's very helpful to me. But the one thing I can tell you is
Sorry, I muted myself again. Wow, it's a good night to mess up. Sorry, guys. I was trying to say counselors, I believe, can be really wonderful if you have a good fit. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I personally am not a medical professional, so I cannot give medical advice. This is just my experience, and this is just my content going over it. Please do not take my opinion as medical fact. Seek a doctor's advice, seek a counselor. Medical help is out there. Please seek it.
I've been on this whole positive bandwagon thing like for the last, well, since the last year, since Katrina.
And I was saying before, I don't know if it muted me out, that I used to be very religious, so there's a very possibility that I even possibly even pray in this. I don't know. We will find out. But I very much believed in a lot bigger things and a lot more advanced things later down the road from this time in my life. So, just viewer discretion is advised.
I I can't explain it other than it's a mind wave for me. I mean, I don't know if this is even helpful. I really don't. But for me personally, I look at everything in a very two-sided coin way. I look at everything as much positive, even if you're bull. Basically, it's
That's funny that I took that curse word out. Oh my gosh, I've always cursed bad. So, yeah. Um I'm not sure what I'm going to say here. We'll find out together because I have not reviewed this for a long time.
it's a mental stimulation. If you're telling yourself that you are, depressed and sad, I mean, I totally understand, believe me, but if you allow yourself to fall in that hole, you have to literally physically pull yourself up. If it means lock yourself out your house so that you're not at home dwelling over.
I agree with that, but I don't think I use the right terms there. Like you are responsible for yourself seeking help. Yes, that's correct. But I don't think I completely agree. We'll see where I go with this, but I don't believe I completely agree with that statement.
Over it, because for me that's what ends up making me worse. I get almost in this pattern of like never ending feeling like walls are caving in kind of a thing. I tend to, you know um not really, I wouldn't say abuse substances, but end up eating or end up drinking or end up smoking, or it's just, it's not good. It's very unhealthy. So all I can say is personally for me, I try to focus on other things. Like I also have problems with spending money. It's bad. I mean, when you are longing for,
I'm glad I was honest about that, but let me just be real. Who doesn't have problems spending money? If you got all the answers out there, then you need to write some books and help some people because we're all struggling right now these days.
to fill a void, that you're so unhappy, or just you just don't feel like you're normal. You feel like the world's just totally, your whole life is flipped upside down, and you don't even know why, and you have so much to be happy about, but yet you just can't be. For me, the only thing that happens, I mentally start making lists.
I feel like that's such a good point just to even stem off on. If you just can't be, if just being, existing, just being happy is the struggle, then you probably are depressed. Most likely. It's probably not an anxiety. It's probably depression. That's one thing that I had learned over the years, like identifying that this wasn't just a bad day. Anxiety didn't just make me grumpy and sad. No, no, no. If it would, you can't even just be. I feel like I touched pretty good on this part on that.
Of what's priority to be stressed out about, because my biggest thing is I'm a control freak. So for me,
Prioritize those stressors. Prioritize those stressors.
it was like, it's been my mother passed away 2 years ago, so I was going to grief counseling too. That's also another big one. But for me personally, prioritizing your stress can be anything from bills to just relationships to anything. Prioritize the stress. What can you deal with right now physically, and what can you not deal with? Um, you know, if and the biggest thing,
What big enough chewing piece can you bite off? That's about like as the 37-year-old version of this version back then. Well, how big of a piece can you chew right now? Can you even digest any of it? That's a question you could ask yourself. A lot of the time it's breaking your depression down. What is the first thing I can do? Is it my surroundings that's bothering me? Is it the cleanliness? Is it the financial aspect? Is it the sleep aspect? Is it the people around me aspect? Like, what little piece can you control? And if you can't, and it's totally beyond you, then yeah, seek help outside of yourself if it's medical or if it's not your friends, a network system, even finding community. Like I was very much later down the road found that YouTube was some sincerely, and we will touch on that tonight because I have some videos I want to cover on it. How community is extremely important, even in depression moments.
is to, even when you feel as bad as possible, everybody deals with depression differently, but for me personally, I would have to say stimulate yourself with things that you really do love. Like if you can relax, is the biggest thing, finding ways to relax. um if it means going out to see a movie, if it means you don't like to be in public with other people, that's fine. There's a lot of people like that.
That's really funny. That's old ass advice for myself because I used to go to movies by myself. I used to take myself out on dates like regularly during the week. Like I would think about it like that. Dress the fuck up. Feel good about myself even if I felt horrible. That is something I need to redo again because I give that advice to friends all the time too, but really, really, it's important. I'll admit it here in 2022. I need to take myself on some dates. It needs to happen. Because that's, I think, where depression can fall in. If you're not loving on yourself how you expect others, well, what are you expecting?
That rent a good movie, but make sure that you're not allowing
Netflix, Blockbuster days. Boy, was that rent a good movie.
yourself to get more and more in that depression. Finding movies that you know will make you happy, or I know it's, for me, that's what personally helps. I usually like to take like a hot bubble bath, light candles, listen to music, but the point of it is it's just everybody deals with stress differently, and the best thing to do is to get your mind in a different mode, because when you're in depression it almost seems like time stops, and just it's an overwhelming cycle. um, and what I can say is through a lot of counseling, I've heard a lot of people using not hypnosis, but meditation. I wouldn't consider what I have to do, meaning like relaxing, breathing. Breathing sometimes helps, but cigarettes also.
Boy, isn't that true? No, let's be real. Let's just grasp what I just said. Well, first off, is it self care? What can you do for yourself? Distractions, positive ones, instead of lamenting, because that's never healthy, or um, ways to cope. Now, I don't know why in hell I actually gave advice. So let's see what I say, because I don't agree with that.
So really good. So I don't know.
Cigarettes are
But
not
what
the
I can
way,
tell you is,
people. I
just
will suggest cannabis all day. Cigarettes are not the way.
do things to get your mind. Take your children, go somewhere. I mean, it's things that are familiar that make things worse. If you're in a house and it's gloomy and you're just so depressed, you just don't even want to move. I mean,
I feel like familiar is the wrong word. I feel like if you're living in a house that has triggers. At this point in my life, I was not diagnosed with PTSD. I thought I just had anxiety and mild depression. I did not know that I was a walking textbook version of PTSD until about 4 or 5 years later. And so to say that I can say that all of my advice here is correct, no, I can't say that. But I can say learning that my depression would not just, it actually was bigger than the anxiety that I thought it was. It was actually bigger than even the depression itself, because depression can trigger PTSD, or PTSD can trigger depression, anxiety, and all the things. They work like a crazy circus with their own little jobs, you know. If work together, you have a whole show with the person.
You've got no energy. You know, you're lifeless, listless, doing dishes, cleaning up. You know, I mean, that is, it's utterly, it's the worst when you're in that hole, in that dark hole, you know. And like I said, everybody deals with it differently, but I've been depressed for a very long time. So, I mean, but I go up and down. I almost, you know, I
And
guess
I want to
that's,
remind the listeners that at this point in time, my mother had been gone for 2 years, and I was coming out of my teenage years, coming out of high school, living in a whole new city, you know, adulting, non-parent at this point, but adulting, dating early. At this time, I had not met my significant other at that time, who I was in a relationship with for 6 years. It's it's odd we're even reviewing this stuff tonight, because I was thinking about this situation this morning of some music. So go check out my TikTok, because you can see all the new stuff I've been posting. But um, that at that time I hadn't even been diagnosed with PTSD. I hadn't really like thought about leaving college or anything. I was going to school for interior design at that point, very focused in life. And so, I mean, I was dealing with grief. I was post Katrina only a year. Um, yeah. And really very religious at this time. Extremely religious.
way to put it. The only way I deal with it is I've done
No
a lot of
disrespect to
self-help,
anyone who
you know,
believes in what you
um,
believe in.
because and you'll notice a lot of my videos are very positive. That's me. I could be BSing everybody and not be happy, but see, I'll make myself happy because I know eventually I'll get to that point. And you know, like I said, you know, for me personally, what can I control today and what can I control tomorrow? What can
So when I say that I could be BSing everybody and I could be completely, it's meaning I put a smile on my face as much as I possibly could. And I'll say that about this period of time in my life, I would fake all the feels. I did not want to believe that my health problems were as bad as they were at that point. And so for me to take, in which we're about to review some freaking content that many years later, this is in 2006, and we're going to review some content that's from 2011, right before I made this channel and was like, I'm doing this. We're going to just show the health. We're just going to be real. Um, Time teaches a lot. Depression wears a person down. Fuck, anxiety and PTSD is hard on a depressed person, much alone independently with those problems. So, my perspective about living was like, and even at this time, like the content, I can't play them on here because they have music that's not allowed, when YouTube used to allow you to make as much as you want it and layer music on. But if there's a way I can put my own music on, I'll share it with you guys in the future. But I used this channel at this time, my old channel, just to be expressive, creative. The way that YouTube's used in a lot of ways these days, thank God. But I wasn't using it for any health reason. It wasn't any of that. So this was just me responding to a total stranger because they were talking about their depression and trying to kind of process it online. And I was like, well, listen, this is what I've went through, you know? And in no way, shape, or form did I believe in it, even in this video, that I was like the knower of all. So when I look back at this, I'm like, well, fuck. First off, you got a baby face, girl. Second of all, your eyebrows are intense. Thank God you pluck them. They don't ever match though. And shout out to oh my God, Two Warrior. She's so great. Tick Tack Warrior. I'll be showcasing her on the shout out video at the end of this month because she made such a cute little comment too. Great content creator, but um I was telling her, yeah, my eyebrows never match. She's like, they're like twin sisters. They're not exactly supposed to look the same. I was like, thank you for making me feel better. But yeah, I mean, being as like positive as I could about my own circumstances, even on this channel, I try to give you guys what's worth it, not feel sorry for me. And a lot of the content we're going to see tonight, it's really hard for me to replay, but it needs to be done. I've made a commitment. This is what this channel is about. I am Miss Chronic Chronicles for a fucking reason. So, this video absolutely needs to be thrown in the mix of our reaction videos, RachelRawTruth versus MsChronicChronicles, for that very reason. So, before MsChronicChronicles was MsChronicChronicles, or RachelRawTruth had a reason to be as truthful as I am, this is what was going on in my 19, almost 20-year-old brain.
Can I not control, period? What can I control? I mean, because that's what makes me at least feel like my life isn't spinning down the toilet, you know? So, you know, I don't know if that helps you, but for me, that helps me. You know, getting your mind in better places.
Perspective helps. Perspective really does help. Before this period of time, and I have to reference it because only it's worth it, A New Earth. There is a book that we will do a review on. I will be talking about in the future because it is what changed my world, my brain, my whole psyche when I was like coming out of some of the lowest points later after this period of time. Because at this point in time, I was still kind of in the fight or flight. And, you know, I actually kept my mouth shut about being from Louisiana and California when I first moved there because I didn't want people to feel like, oh, Katrina girl, watch out, feel sorry. I didn't want any of that shit. So I shut the fuck up. The only time people knew that I was even from Louisiana or even had any of that experience were in dating relationships. So it had to be an intimate, and my health problems never came out because didn't want friends to treat me different. It was such a strange, you know, and I don't feel like that was healthy. I feel like to deal with depression, and we will talk about that tonight because we have other videos to review, to deal with depression, to deal with health problems, and to be upfront with not just yourself, but to the people around you and the future people around you. Well, I knew recording it felt like a bigger purpose, a bigger meaning, and I felt like the outreach had to make sense. And it did make sense. This is the first channel I started having lasting relationships.
Take a trip, take a vacation somewhere. It's not that you're running away from your problems, it's that you're mentally clearing your head for your emotions related by your emotions.
Sorry guys,
Everything
I don't know
works
why
in
it's
sync,
lagging.
You know? And it is a disease, and it's a very strong, scary disease because it makes you want to kill yourself. And you can completely have everything going for yourself, but literally you just can't seem to be happy. It's sad.
Yep.
And
I don't know why it's editing out like that. Come on. Hang on, guys.
anyway, if you need anybody to talk to, or just, you know, I don't know if it's even going to help you, but, you know, I guess maybe you'll know somebody's out there with support, and I think you're a really great person. I don't know you that well, hardly at all, but I think you're talented. I love your movies, but you're actually one of the people that made me decide to get a webcam too, because I wasn't going to do it, and then I was like, why the heck not? So, anyway, I'm going to let you
I think I'm going to search real quick and see if she's still online, and we'll give her a little shout out.
go. You have a fantastic night, and keep smiling. Smile even when you don't want to. If it makes you happy, it will. Eventually all click in like a big puzzle.
That I don't know if I 100% believe anymore. I can't fake a smile. I just can't. I'm getting old, people.
Do something fun tomorrow or today.
Thank you so much, UFO, for being here. You deal with depression all the time. Oh, sir, you get it. You get it. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Today or next week. Do something fun. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. So first and foremost, UFO, I appreciate you being honest because it's very hard to be honest about these things, of course. And of course, the reality is that depression is something we don't ask for. It's no different than addiction. It's no different than headaches or cancer or anything else like that. Depression is not something we ask for. It's something we face. Oh yeah, the fake. I can't with the fake smiles. I mean, I wanted to. I wanted. Listen, I could do that in my 20s. I can't do that in my 30s. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with all of that. And I don't mean it to be in a negative. Like, don't take my advice, people. Take your own advice. Go search your own doctors. I'm not in any way medically trained to give you guys advice, but I have went through some ups and downs that have been quite ridiculous. We're going to look up real quick because I'm just curious if she still exists. Lunar Girl. I think that's her name. Man, I almost think she is still on. Lunar Girl? No, Luna? Let's see, Luna Girl. I'm almost positive. Nope. Well, this was a PJ Masks before PJ Masks was something. But yes, that's not what we're looking for. So let me pull up something else. Give me a moment. All right, so I'm going to look up this other video. I looked for everything and then I made it all unlisted and then now here we are. So now I have to actually go search for it. So hold on a second, guys. But in regards to sadness, depression, like I feel like if I hadn't dealt with grief at such a young age, I don't know if I could deal with, here we go, channel. Oh, it's going to be in my other one. Let's go here. There we go. I don't think I could deal with the anxiety without freaking out when you're like, I'm hyperventilating. Okay, maybe I'm not having maybe I didn't eat, or maybe I'm just having a moment, like talk yourself down. Okay, here we go. We've got the other channel. All right. Now, this is the oldest video I ever made, ever. And this was like, hello, everybody. I'm coming on YouTube. All right. So let me send this over to myself. Now, I hate this video. It's a long ass one. But we're going to try to watch a little bit of it and a little bit of another one at the same time, which is going to be mentally hard. I think it might be hard. But I feel like we need to. Okay. This one goes here. And then, all right, so, because there's a whole bunch of series of videos, I'm going to actually take a screenshot right now, and I'm going to show you guys some of these titles, and it's just so fucking ridiculous how much I've been for a while now, guys. Oh, there we go. I don't know if I can use it in here. Oh, I can't show it on that. All right, that's all right. I will email it to myself. Right now. Oh, wait, one more. Let's open this up. Okay. Is it in this one? Bear with me. I'll be right there, guys. I'll be right there. All right, activism connecting. So we're going to start watching this one, but it is extremely long. And not everything that I talk about in this video is actually what ended up being real. Like, meaning I was told one thing from the doctors and they were totally something else. So I'm uncomfortable with this video because I don't believe it's completely transparently what was going on. It was what was going on. It was what was seen, but it was not the answers. Okay, so this was posted. Activism support connecting. The Mary and Joe Show video podcast. This was not called that. That was called something else. My story and welcome info on why I created a YouTube channel. Find in-depth information on topics discussed are of the following, from symptoms to medication options and my experience. Chronic fatigue syndrome, excuse me, CFS, hepatitis C, HCV, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, Harrington Rod, spinal fusion, surgery, medication, healthcare, disability, soul path, spirituality, Hurricane Katrina, interior design, art, artist, painting, energy, breast cancer, bone cancer, bipolar life, living, love, anxiety disorders, symptoms, generalized anxiety, scoliosis, interferon, ribavirin, pain pills, music, creating, knowing, sixth sense, human connection, peace, love, fibromyalgia, vegetarian, illness, demons, Jesus, rant, profits, money. Failed surgery, love, destiny, eating, vlog, stress, drawing, thin, discussion, so I feel like this was the original. Eating, vlog, stress, drawing, thin, discussion, talk, help, recovery, therapy, psychology, social life, brain, emotional, video, blogging industry, doctor, healing, stress song, interior design, professional field. Holy fuck, man. Holy motherfuck. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yes, that was a long one. I'm saying it. Yes, interior design, which I am going to get back into sharing that in this channel in the future. I have some plans. I've been recording. I've been archiving. Okay, that's what it's called. So in this video, like I said, it's a pretty long video. But I actually want to pull up another video real quick before we get up into it. So while I start this one, I'm going to be looking for another one, and we're going to play them. I think that we're going to play them. I don't know. Let's see how we go with this. I'm not comfortable. I'll say that, guys, because I was misinformed. I was in a extremely bad relationship. The person I was with was telling me every day to kill myself. No exaggeration. No exaggeration. It was very, very hostile. So basically, when we do these reaction videos for the next few content weeks, they are going to get rough. And I do hope that Marie Terrell will be with me in the future, because she's actually never seen these. She was a witness to me being in an abusive relationship and me recording what was going on, but she was not privy to me actually releasing the videos. So here we go.
Hi, my name's Rachel. I am 26 years old, and this is actually not the first time I've ever had a YouTube. I look horrible, by the way, and that's a good point, because I actually wanted to show what it looks like when I don't feel so great and when I have absolutely no makeup on, and I am wearing clothes, I promise. But I actually decided a couple months ago that I wanted to do some research on some of the things that just spoke to me in my heart. And, I started with Google, and then that obviously brought more doorways. And I found more people who were interested in the same things, like most people do, and Google provides. And, basically what I discovered was that the person that I thought I was, I'm exactly who I am. And the problems that I deal with are a lot more common and yet a lot less spoken about on some angles. So,
oh, I'm so glad I know what this is about. Oh, I am so glad we're going to have this chat. I'm almost positive that I speak about it. So if I'm almost correct, I'm just preparing you guys. Found out that the Harrington rods that I had in my back were not just a common issue that I was dealing with, the problems I'm going to discuss, but it was a matter of life, that I needed to handle this, and that this whole journey was going to be intense. It was going to be intense. Ooh. So I don't remember exactly what I say in this, but I do remember that I'm pretty fucking real. Because I think when I did this video, I was like, I'm in the bathroom because I'm hiding, like, at this point from a very hostile person. And I was just like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this now. Because we don't even know what tomorrow holds. Like, we got to fucking do this. We got to just fucking do this. So here we go, guys. Mind you, I was 80 some odd pounds, maybe 90 pounds at this time, which is ridiculous. I'm 5'2". I normally weigh like 120 to 140. with no problem. But with the health problems I had, I wasn't diagnosed with gastroparesis yet. So this is a flare moment in an illegal state, completely screwed for having medicine, and in an abusive relationship and no medical help. So just keep all that in mind.
My reason for making this YouTube, and I really don't know if it's going to help me or hurt me, but I am a very complex being, let's put it that way. And I've kind of, in so many words, could say I'm an old soul. Without sounding narcissistic, what I'm saying to you is I think I have a lot to provide, as in a friend, as in someone who has went through it or is going through it. And I think that I have a lot to offer, at least as the online community could provide. And I'm also in the process of working on finding that full embodiment to start really meshing away and writing a book that I've been wanting to write for over 10 years. And so actually just made 10 years. My mother was terminally ill with breast cancer for 9 years. And also myself and my mother were terminally ill, chronically ill with hepatitis C. And the reason that I am feeling like it's kind of important, as in today's society, we don't really know that much about what our futures hold in the hepatitis C community. I also, as you can see, am quite thin, and that reason is...
Now, mind you guys, I was not cured, and hold on, the sound's messed up. All right, I think you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Okay. I was not cured yet, and I was in a situation. So, I have screwed myself up tonight with the sound again. I know it. Hopefully you guys can hear me, but bear with the things that I share. They're very hard to share. I am now cured, thankfully, and thanks to the YouTube community. They have helped me in more ways than one over the years deal with my health problems and sharing it here. So this is a testament to the community of YouTube and the chronic illness community and the cannabis community. Thank you all who are listening, who have been here. You guys got me through this shit. This is a testament of what it was like before I had your guys' support. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, guys.
Is because I am daily dealing with irritable bowel syndrome. I was a resident in California for 7 years, almost 7.
And I wasn't diagnosed with gastroparesis until much later down the road. So for me, I was only told, just deal with it. And it's probably stress related while you're dealing with it. So mind fucking when you think of like, they just tell you, send you home, here's some antidepressants, and that should solve your problems. Yet you're still vomiting, which I'll start talking about soon.
7 years, 6 full years, and became a cannabis patient. And so a lot of my problems with my liver have caused me to have to resort to alternative measures, which are very frustrating because obviously anybody in pain or in discomfort never wants to take anything at all. But when you're ill, it's hard, and when you're ill and it's dangerous to take something, and the medical community, not the cannabis community, the medical community sways and sways and sways to endure prescription medications or injections, prescription injections for hepatitis C, or to endure other interesting pills. Let's put it this way, for whatever ailments you're dealing with. In 2007, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Now, depression is a very common thing in the United States and with most people, but as you'll get to know me as a person, I feel that this YouTube can actually help me not only get to the bare essentials of who I am and try to help me decide where I need to go in my path, by meeting other people and, just synchronicity with all of that. I believe that there's a real lack of support with the irritable bowel syndrome community and the fibromyalgia syndrome community.
At the time, there was not many people in the freaking chronic illness community who were okay with talking about cannabis and their health problems. I was loud and proud. I had I still to this day have so many gracious friendships because people were like, fuck, she's saying it. Okay, I'll admit it too. Like, oh, I love that I got to see one by one people be fucking real about it. This is a testament, and we will see through my reviews and reactions over the years. I'm so glad we're starting backwards.
And hepatitis C community, because there's not a big face for most of these people. And if you are brave enough to speak about it, you obviously will be judged in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not sure at this point if I will receive the best attention for me being so honest, for all of my decisions and for all of my health problems, which none of them have been my fault. I was never a drug user. I was diagnosed terminally ill with hepatitis C when I was 6 years old. And my mother also was diagnosed at that age. At that time, which she was in her, I think, late 30s. So, and the strange thing is I have a younger brother. So you would think, oh, well, then your mother gave it to you. No, that's not the case, because we were both born the same way, C-section, and there's just no way if you're in the womb that you're going to get hepatitis C, because it's blood to blood and you don't share blood with your mother no matter what. So there were no cuts on me, whatever. Nobody knows. It's just the cards I was dealt. There's some famous people who have had the struggle as well. Pamela Anderson, most recently. Winona, I think. No, not Winona. I don't know. There's a country singer that also had hepatitis C and supposedly cured herself. Now, I've had it since I was 6 years old, or at least diagnosed. So that means 20 years now. My birthday is October 6th, and so that will be when I will be 27, which means it's been a long journey. And I was treated with interferon when I was very young.
So when I saw this earlier today, I was like, oh my God, I said I was 26. Oh my God, I'm 26. I'm 36 now. 10 years ago, around this time, guys, I was like, we're doing it. Let me see when I don't know if it's published on the same. It probably will be. Hold on. What does it say? What month? That is the month. Show less. I don't know why it doesn't say it. Anyway, the info's not here. That sucks. No, I appreciate you saying that, UFO. It really was more so me being like, I didn't want people in Alabama smoking in their bathroom too to feel bad. Because, see, Alabama is now in the 2020s finally starting to get their act together slowly but surely. They're going to have medicinal access soon. Louisiana, after these many effing years, 10 fucking years ago when I started the channel, Louisiana was not part of this lovely situation. And I was like, we're going to use what I know about California as an example for the people with these health conditions that may find relief too. Maybe they haven't thought about it yet. Like, research shows, so this is what this intro to my channel really was about.
I think the biggest thing with the drug community and hepatitis C and information in general, I think it's just you're supporting the problem, unfortunately, by being involved in the medical community, unless you're into research and you're actually, I can't really speak for that. I cannot honestly speak for that, because my heart tells me that this is still a journey. So, and with irritable bowel syndrome, for a very long time, being that I have a liver condition, and obviously I'm not very ignorant by any means, I tried everything I could. I've been a vegetarian since I was 6 years old. Now, what does that mean? Why doesn't she eat meat? Well, It wasn't because of my liver at the time. Actually, it was because I just couldn't keep the food down. And I was able to eat chicken until I was about 15 years old. So there's another support group situation. I have, over the years, discovered a lot of things that I think could relate to who I am and, how I am. And then again, I believe that without speaking of your problems, you can't really find synchronicity, and you can't really find support unless you speak. So, there's some things in my life that are very strange right now, and I believe that everything happens in its own time, for its own reason, but support is quite important. So, I don't really know what direction I'm going to go with all these videos, but I do believe that, I have to stay a little bit confidential, because though here's my face and who I am and my story, and you may find me and you may know me, but it doesn't change that I'm not here to talk about me, and I want you to feel sorry for me or look for some kind of reason to, I don't know, befriend me out of sympathy or some shit like that. Excuse my French. But, I've also been recently dealing with, relationships are really hard when you're ill. And I've had a mother who was ill. I mean, I know what that experience is, to have a direct family member who is ill or to die. But with hepatitis C, it's such a slow killer, and, you really don't know what you're dealing with. Over the years, I've dealt with so much pain and so much strange ailments, let's just put it that way, ailments, that I've come to the conclusion that I think there's no other direction than to look at fibromyalgia. And
I gotta stop there for a second, because I'm glad I put this out there. I'm really fucking glad I put this out there. Because I've already said a lot, and it's only 9 minutes in, but it's from the grace of God that I even had the breath to say it. Because at this point in time, I was struggling to have a moment where my body wasn't on literal fire. And I'm almost positive this is about where I start talking about how, the nerve pain that I feel, I don't understand it. Now, I have neuropathy, so I have further than just normal nerve pain, though, with other things that affect my full body. So I have been diagnosed finally with fibromyalgia. And yes, technically I had IBS growing up, and then I developed into fibromyalgia. And then because of the inflammation of my liver from hepatitis, unknown where I got the lovely liver disease, then had to wait a full 24 years until I actually got the cure and became a mother. And in that period of time, shared it all here. So we're kind of starting from the beginning, you could say.
I'm in the middle of a disability situation. So yes, I am very triumphant the fact that I need to take care of my health problems. And that part of that is becoming aware of what they are. And fibromyalgia, unfortunately, it's like the witch doctor syndrome at this point. People believe it's all in your head. And so what? If it is, it is. But it's not fake. It's an actual, shows up on scans. I mean, I have pain, and a lot of my pain comes from my back.
And I want all of you who have fibromyalgia to be able to say that right out loud. If it's in my head, it's in my head, but it fucking hurts. Meaning, if it is literally mentally induced, because that's what there are claims out there that even mental health issues can cause. Depression can induce fibromyalgia. There's lots of research. We should do a fibromyalgia night. Shout out to Marie Tarot 504. But for real, so the original location of where fibromyalgia actually stems from, I've heard people put it in different retrospects of, you could have Crohn's disease but actually have fibromyalgia first, and then the miracle grow finally happens with the fibromyalgia. The inflammation happens for so long, finally triggers that Crohn's disease, that then triggers all these other, celiac disease and other things potentially too. Those are all testable, but again, fibromyalgia is not. So when we go back to this, as old as it is, 10 years later, here I am. There's just not enough research to really say, what is it? Is it hormone based? Is it DNA based, genetically? Like, how is fibromyalgia? I believe fibromyalgia could be environmentally triggered, trauma triggered. These are all things people have said, researchers have said about fibromyalgia. So we should dive into that one night. If you guys are listening and you struggle with it yourself, please let me know. Your voice matters too.
Spinal Fusion, which is another support group. I had spinal fusion when I was 13 years old. It was a Harrington rod. The reason that I had the rods inserted were because my spine from scoliosis, another support group, they'll all be in the tabs down below. Basically, what I'm trying to say is there's a constant situation with spinal problems and people having surgery and believing and trusting in the doctors that they put their care into. And it just blows my mind that, apparently in the last 22 years, anybody or most of the community patients, let's put it this way, most of the people that have had Harrington rods inserted watched it fail within 11 to 22 years. Now, I had the rods inserted when
There's an article that was written by a researcher who did a full investigation on the Harrington rod situation and what it does to people and how it actually creates literal disability cases left and right, and that the doctors put these rods into sometimes pubescent children. As myself, I was 13 when they put the rods in. 13. A 13-year-old girl is growing. They don't adjust steel. So literally it broke and caused all kinds of internal scarring, flatback syndrome, massive problems. So when I found this article way back when, I still didn't have answers for my digestive problems, but then the doctors started to believe they had coinciding, meaning I could have from what is this said to me by my own doctors, it went from liver disease early to back problems to surgery to inflammation to fibromyalgia to full-blown GI problems to now we know gastroparesis, which is affected by the vagus nerve, which the vagus nerve works along the spinal cord, and then the spinal cord itself being interfered with in surgery from a spinal fusion of a 97-degree curve, of course, would cause a GI problem. So keep that in mind, and if you can follow, it's just ridiculous. Keep listening.
I was 13 years old. Now, that was a
We will
risk for the doctor
share
who
the
inserted
PDF
them.
in the
I'm not going to
future.
mention names because that's not the point. I'm sure he didn't mean to cause me any problems, but it happened.
No, my rods are not okay. My rods were taken out with emergency surgery, which I actually documented some of that over time, and I've spoken about it in a future episode, or in the bottom of the description area. I will put, after this live, you can watch a video where they told me more. But I had x-rays of like the rods twisting and the wires bending and the screws pulling and all that crap. So yeah. Well, we're going to get into the chitter chatter, but this documentary this PDF that I found, that was a research group, a doctor who had done all this investigating on this particular surgery I had gotten when I was 13, had basically, it was a class action across the whole country, but nobody could really get it. So people weren't able to sue doctors and whatnot, but you could go file for disability, which is just ridiculous for the country to have to, for us as people who want to work, people want to have, but you're too, now have all these health problems. Anyway, sorry, I keep interrupting everyone, but we will go into the documents that I actually found in the future, to cover it so you guys can see it yourself.
Happen. So age 13, I have rods inserted. They were two stainless steel titanium, excuse me. I don't even know if that, stainless steel, no, surgical steel, surgical steel rods implanted on both sides of my spine, because my spine was from first checked a 57-degree curve, then to 97-degree curve from the age of 5, then all the way to the age of 12. 13. 12 is when they discovered it. 13 is when I had the surgery. That surgery was done in May of 1999. It was actually recalled. The type of surgeries were recalled that following, I believe, fall or summer. It was after my surgery. So in 2000, they stopped doing that kind of surgery. And unfortunately, 2 years after that surgery in 2001, I was returning to the doctor with severe pain and being unable to get out of my bed because of fire pain, lower back. At the time, I worked at Baskin-Robbins. I was a teenager. I was, I think, 16 years old. And, you know, if you're a hard worker, you're not going to feel it. If you have a high tolerance, you're not going to feel it. If you care about making money and you don't want to have hang-ups in your life because of your ailments and you're used to pain, because if you have back problems, you're used to pain, it's pretty common that, you know, you end up not realizing you hurt yourself. So if you want to blame it on Baskin-Robbins, so be it. But in a nutshell, 2 years later, I go back to the doctor. He throws up x-rays up on the screen, takes them right back down, and says, flipping around, turning to me, saying very quickly, you know, people who have spinal fusions can't assume that they're not going to be in pain. So I'm sorry, but you're going to just have to endure some pain and get used to it. Here's some Darvocet.
And I was 15 years old, folks. 15 years old.
Nice little pill. I believe it was Darvocet. It's pink, hot pink. Anybody know? Pain pills. So I was 16 years old being given pain pills. Take them every night. Break them in half if you need them. Take half if you need them. Take 1.5 if you need them. Really ridiculous shit to give a teenager who is just looking to understand why she can't get out of bed. So,
and when I mean my flare, if you want to call it that, my nerve pain was so bad, I literally couldn't lift my shoulders off the bed. My neck was in atrophy pain, but I couldn't move. Like, I would just have bouts. I couldn't get out of bed. My body would just not work. I don't know how else to put that. And so we're saying Louisiana between 15 and 16 was already like, we gave you the surgery. It was doomed to fail you. It's going to cost a whole lot more money to get it done, and you're going to be in pain from now forward. Enjoy your life, 13-year-old. Here, you're 3 years later, you're a woman, and you're having problems. Well, fuck, I don't know what to tell you. Here's some pain pills. Goodbye. We would like your insurance money on a regular basis. You need a refill, you call me. It's exactly how it was.
my rant is not about me. My rant is about, if you've experienced any of the things I've spoken about, I want you to respond to me. I want your videos. I want support, because I believe that this is a bigger situation than a lot of people realize. The Harrington rods were so dangerous that actually doctors have believed that that's where my irritable bowel syndrome came from, or anxiety. Why would you say anxiety or irritable bowel syndrome will come from your back? Well, when you have chronic pain and your body stops giving you those signals because you stop paying attention, body's going to tell you somehow. So what I started to experience was pain, just pain going to the bathroom, pain getting out of bed, cracking sounds, weird things. I heard things and I felt them internally.
Wow, the cracking sounds. Let me just describe it. If you ever stepped on glass and then it's underneath something, so I don't know, let's say it's outside on a patio and you hear the grinding of glass, you know, the in your own body, man, it was crazy. And that's only 3 years after the surgery. Already 3 years.
Sick all the time. I was nauseous all the time. And then it started to get worse. I started vomiting all the time, 3 times a day. I don't want food anymore. No, I'm hanging over the toilet again. Why? Oh, I had soup. So anytime I put food in my body went into shock. And that was because high endurance, high stress, high anxiety, pain. which is what the doctors assume. I don't know. I'm just telling you what happened. I have no clue what really is the circumstances, other than here I am 4 years later, and I was 176 pounds when I evacuated from Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Yes, also a Hurricane Katrina survivor. Refugee, evacuee, whatever you want to call them. And that actually is when I initially started doing my videos. A little bit after Katrina, I just felt this calling to start making YouTube videos.
Yep, that was when let me tell you something. When I initially started using cannabis, I used it socially with a boyfriend, and I think I speak about it in this video. I used it socially with a boyfriend, and I felt I had no more anxiety, but to eat was a second thought. It would be like if you were with like someone, women, men listening, if you're like actually able to be comfortable with someone. And I thought I blamed it a lot on like, oh, I'm just smoking bong hits with my boyfriend and now I can eat a pizza with him. Yay. Right? And oh, babe, I haven't had a pizza in like, I haven't eaten anything like 3 days. Like, I wasn't making it a big deal. Like, I wasn't. But like, at that point in time, cannabis being introduced to me was like, holy shit, I didn't realize it was really, really helping me until I started getting some for myself, because my boyfriend at the time would be like, you should get some, just get some to have some, and it'd be like, I didn't smoke often. I actually refused to get a pipe. I was like, I was smoking out of an apple for a long ass time, thinking, whatever. But it was odd how I was like, okay, wait, I feel calmer. Maybe it's anxiety. Maybe it is all anxiety. Maybe because at that point, I did not know I had gastroparesis, and I really didn't have many doctors supporting the cannabis use yet. I was still kind of in the closet and didn't have my license yet.
Now, my YouTube currently, as you might notice, is in reference to music I make, which I really don't want to remove any of that, because that is truly music I have created and I love, and I am an artist in many forms. So, with all of my ailments I've discussed in this lovely little video, let me make it very clear. I am functioning as best as I can, as often as I can, and as regularly as I can with the circumstances. So, the Harrington rods, I will have to tell you in another video, but if you're interested in more information about that, basically, let me give you a summary. It was the screws in my back were the metal. So the metal started to corrode, which caused irritable bowel syndrome because it was poisoning me. I was treated with antidepressants. I was going through a seriously bad relationship. I was in the middle of college. I was post-traumatic right after Katrina. I didn't know what I owned for 6 years, 5 years, excuse me. Locked up in a storage unit in Louisiana. So when you deal with chronic anxiety and you deal with chronic pain, your body is going to tell you there's a problem somehow. And it actually got to the point where I did everything a pregnant person would do, meaning I had tea, I did ginger lollipops, anything possible to stop fucking vomiting or to keep food down, because I had gotten to 109 pounds. And that's a big drastic change when you don't even recognize yourself anymore, because either food's not going to digest and it's absolute agony to have a meal, and you love food. I'm Italian, I'm French, and I enjoy food, and I am a vegetarian, but I actually enjoy food. So when you're in constant pain and you're constantly scared, because this is real and it's not in your head, and basically my only relief became, honestly, hitting a bowl. It was the only way that my stomach would calm down. So the reason that I actually chose to go ahead and give it a go and see if it works, was dating a guy who had bipolar disorder and was unresponsive to medication, or he, in so many words, didn't want to try it. He had a roommate who was schizophrenic, and was not a very good picture of how the guy basically had overdosed, but didn't kill himself, but had mixed dosed medications. I guess, schizophrenia is a very bad thing. So, if you're dealing with bipolar, it's manic situation more like. So, and I will really touch on that too, because I have quite a bit of information on that too. But I feel like there's so much that people want to categorize themselves with, including myself, obviously. But, unless you're completely self-aware, which a lot of my problem is, I don't like to burden people with exactly the details of how I'm feeling. But it's almost like if you wait so long and you just, like I said, my pain just, I became comfortable with my pain because I knew what to expect. So I'd have a backache. I'd run a scalding hot bath, and then I would scalding hot throw myself in there, and I'd get out and feel great, and then nauseous, and then smoke a bowl, and go to bed and do it all over again the next day, and assume that I could try to get, what does Rachel feel like eating today? That kind of moment. So what can I try to eat today? So as the saying goes, take it one day at a time, and maybe it'll get better tomorrow. And as quickly as it came on, maybe it'll go away. That's exactly what I fucking did for 7 fucking years. You hear me, people? 7 years. 7 years. So at first, I was obviously a little bit uncomfortable with the idea of having to endure and smoke every single day. That was really scary. Because my only reference was my mother, who had irritable bowel syndrome and severe depression, and I believe truthfully it was from prescriptions, honestly. And obviously, if you're in pain, she had bone cancer. I can't tell you exactly how many spots, but she had breast cancer for 9 years. So I watched her take every single pill and see nothing work, and her always revert back to marijuana. So you can judge, and you can leave nasty comments, and you can think I'm a drug addict, or you can whatever you want to think. But you're looking at somebody who's never used heroin, never wanted to use cocaine, never been interested in anything. I've tried shrooms twice in my life and didn't even enjoy it. So let me talk about that too in another video, because I believe that with experiences we learn, and I believe that which I'm really glad that I even said that, because at that point I had not had a good trip in my life, and I hadn't had it in a positive way, and I hadn't learned at that point, man, that sometimes if you use shrooms and use it as a spiritual awakening, man, you can freaking elevate, and I definitely have since then. Since then, I've probably used it like 7 different times. So those 2 different times were very freaking scary. I don't know why I didn't mention it. Marie Tarot 504. We'll have to talk about that. The bad trips with the shrooms in the future. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. You just got rid of cancer. That's fantastic. Congratulations. So, people open themselves to being a little bit more humble and realizing that we do need each other. We all need each other in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's one message from one person one day and that's it, to a friendship for the rest of your life. I've been sick for 20 years, and I realized that there's something sincerely wrong with the way that my body responds to what I want to do. So I have been thinking quite a bit about what does it really mean to put yourself out there and to show everything. And I think it just means honesty, like truthful honesty, like core honesty. I expect that you will see videos of me and not even recognize me, because the sad part about IBS is that you have stress in your life that actually triggers horrible hours of it, or days, or weeks, or days of nothing. So the nothing doesn't happen too often for me anymore. And I really believe it's just my GI is screwed up. So,
at this point, I was having, it's drastically worse now, but at this point in time in my life, I was having regular vomiting and regularly struggling to maybe eat like a half a meal a day, literally. So breakfast didn't matter, lunch never mattered, and I would eat a tiny, tiny, tiny dinner. I was good the rest of the day. If I didn't have smoke, I couldn't eat. It would come up in undigested form. So at this point, I'm having ridiculous amounts of, sorry, TMI, trigger warning, diarrhea regularly and vomiting, and sometimes at the same time. Now that's 10 years. So I can honestly say I've had, has it really been 10 years? 10 plus 7. I think we're going on like 14 years, maybe total. I hate to say 17. I think it's 14. That would make a lot more sense. 7 undiagnosed, 7. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's 14 years now I've had GI problems. And so when you vomit and have diarrhea and have problems eating that long, there's all kinds of new problems, like your hair falls out, your teeth become more brittle. Um, doesn't matter if you think you can eat the food. Next week, you might not be able to. You're going to crave a food, eat it. If you crave it, eat it. If you can't keep it down, well, you wanted it. It tasted good going down, girl. That is my life now. So perspective wise, it's really intense to watch this, where I'm like, wow, I've gotten really good at handling the fucking I don't knows anymore.
I believe in a lot of holistic things, but I've never tried acupuncture, and I would love massage, but the reality is that my spine is really screwed up, and I'll touch on that too, because I really do want to find other people who have the same problems, because if I'm able to learn something from you and you're able to learn something from me, and we're support, hopefully for the rest of our lives in some way, shape, or form, that's huge. That's a huge gain as humans. So I hope you can not look at me and break me apart, because I'm not perfect. And but I have a voice, and a little bit of energy that I can do, I think I can speak and share my heart. So I'm not giving this YouTube to a single person I know. If you stumble upon it and you know who I am, I hope you can respect that I am trying to be as humble as a person and as loving as a person in this world. Because in relationships, all I try to give is love, and all I try to have is peace. And that also includes what I am searching for: love in myself and peace.
I feel like people should really try to mirror that in their own lives. I don't try to, at least in my own life, tell people how to live. But if you can understand where I came from in this circumstance, I have built every single subscriber I have. I have stood proud for the 10 years that I've been sharing my situation consistently. And I do feel like I didn't know why it made sense. I just knew that for me, I needed to build a community that made sense. I was not looking to like have a cult following with all the same fucking health problems. No, people, no. But the cannabis community did not exist 10 years ago like it does now. I mean, it wasn't around the block as close, and now that, like I said earlier in this video, if you're just joining, Louisiana just made it medicinally available. They are working on getting it available in the actual locations, but it is legally available. Access is coming. So for me to be sharing it in this place when I was because I felt like there was a larger reason. I didn't understand it quite then. I didn't even have my own health problem answers yet. And I was still in my 20s, like mid 20s, trying to, take it in. I mean, if you guys are into astrology, you might understand. It was before my Saturn return, guys. Huh. It was before the Saturn return.
I know that there are certain things in my life that will never go away. And then there are other things that I can make a little bit smooth, a little bit more the way they're supposed to be, if that makes sense. So, welcome, and I will hopefully be able to post as frequent as my heart tells me to. If you're familiar with the term empath, I definitely associate with that, and that has a lot to do with where I believe a lot of my pain comes from, because I have actually proven to myself, and to others, that it's like you, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like, it's like a sponge, if you can explain it that way. You're brand new, taken out of the plastic sponge, and I have a lot to give, but I have a lot of holes, and I can suck up so much, but the cat is in here. I can suck up a lot, but I'm not an emotional tampon, so I'm trying to give, but not have to answer everybody's problem, because I know part of me doing this YouTube is going to affect me emotionally, because I'll care, and vice versa. So if you can at least humble yourself to, I'm just a person, I live by what I live by, and it is what works for me. But I'm not against learning anything. I'm not against accepting anybody's 2 cents in criticism. I'm an artist. Like I said before, I went to the Art Institute in Orange County, California, and studied interior design. And that's a really hard thing for me, because a lot of those dreams that I wanted, I can't really accomplish right now. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to. But it's kind of like, I see this in so many videos from people who have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, which I'm hands down have. You will see. We just want to be understood, and we just want friends who don't look at the outer, look at the inner. So if you're one of those people, I welcome you to my life and to my saga of events. I'm not going to provide my Facebook at this point, because I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep it. I've found a lot of Facebook is like on a path of destruction, in my opinion, because relationships become affected by Facebook, and family become affected by Facebook. Relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend affected, I'm saying. And even people don't respect people's privacy like they did, 20 years ago. And that has to do with social media. And even me putting it out here, the reason I am feeling comfortable enough to put it out here is that if you are a close friend in my life, then you already know. If you don't already know, then you're not close enough in my life, and so you haven't been given that information. But if you found my YouTube, this is my life. So you'll learn about me as I share. But I really hope to get past all the gory details. And if you're just coming to my YouTube, which, look, I'm not trying to plan this out. So I look like crap. I'm in the bathroom. That's toilet paper right there. That is called toilet paper. I'm goofy, I'm honest, and I'm raw. So I'm going to go.
And that is where initially one of my subscribers was like, you should be RachelRawTruth. You are RachelRawTruth, darling. And then another subscriber was like, over time, it's like, you know what? You're like the Mary and Joe show. You drink your coffee and you smoke your cannabis. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are amazing. So over time, like I think it was Ray Love 1985 was my freaking name on here. I don't even remember. I did not have it planned out, and then MsChronicChronicles came because I had some family members, which we will review some videos in the future, that completely came and harassed me. They knew that I had gotten money back from Social Security from back pay on getting disability, and they really wanted to come collect, which was really disgusting. I was in a serious abusive relationship, leaving the state, and they were like, we're stalking you, just letting you know. Like, yeah, cute stuff, real cute. So That's why I put that in here for a moment, because I'm pretty sure at this point I already had dealt with that insanity.
My first name, and that's it. My name is Rachel, and this is me. So there are a lot of things I don't like about myself, and there's a lot of things that I think I'm pretty damn awesome about. So I'm trying to remind myself by allowing others into my life, and it's not a filtration system for me to be here. This is not for me to endure criticism, and I don't know if I'll even. I don't know if I'll. I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's okay. That's the best part. Is it's just gonna come from my heart. So, there are a few YouTube channels that I'm gonna be plugging all the time because the people are amazing, and um, I think that that's important that we help one another reach one another. So, if you have a friend, or I'm not talking about Facebook. If you have a friend on a channel, or a channel that I should know because I have mentioned something that interests your brain, then please send me whatever. I welcome positivity. I really think I'm pretty brainwashed from having a mother who had cancer for 9 years, and I was the oldest, so when you're giving yourself injections in your legs when you're in first grade, and you know what it feels like to be so sick from interferon that you're laying on the bathroom floor in your classroom, and children are knocking on the door in between recess because they want to use the bathroom and you're just too sick to sit up in the classroom. You know who that is. If that's you, or you've ever been there in some way, shape, or form because you've had to endure what the doctors told you to do and you still didn't find an outcome. I actually relapsed. My virus went away when I was 8 years old, and then it came back. So 6 months later, I believe it was. My mother took interferon many, 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 many times after that, and ribavirin, if you're familiar. I don't think I'm going to post very much about these two treatments as of this time because I think they're the devil.
If you know anything about ribavirin or interferon, my God, it makes you so sick. I'm so grateful that there was finally a treatment out there, and that's the funny part. Mine was like, I want to say it was 6 weeks or 8 weeks max of medications, 2 different medications I took orally, and I didn't have any side effects. I wasn't even tired, actually. It was the first time in my life I wasn't had energy, which in most of these videos you guys will see chronic fatigue at its finest. I was so tired, so run down with pain. Unbelievable. But the reason I reference HCV so much is that at this time there was a political fight, and I hate to put it this way, I'm going to be very transparent and real, is that the medication was expensive, that there was a cure already out there, and as I said at the beginning of this video, there was a medication, another one. I'm not sure what that medication was, I forget, but the one that Pamela Anderson had taken and actually gotten cured was a very expensive drug, and they were not giving it to people who were low income or any of that. You had to have a private insurance to be cured. No joke, people. So at the time, it was real. I almost can say this is a video of a cry for help for people out there who had HVC as well and were also trying to just survive, or people who had fibromyalgia and trying to find ways to feel better. Um, at that time, I had already lived in California, but had moved back to Louisiana due to my health problems, got in an abusive relationship, and was trying to make sense of all of it. I thought coming to YouTube was a smart idea to share my chronic illnesses for the community. What it ended up being ultimately was a support group of community of people who had my same illnesses, and also people who were really aware I was in an abusive relationship and need to get the fuck out. So as time goes on, and you guys will see these reaction videos of what I'm doing here in these episodes, you will even hear me reference some of your guys' comments who were here supporting me. So Just want to put that out there.
But there is some hope in all this because I do a lot of research. So part of what I'm doing here is it's like a feed. If you want any information about any of the topics I've discussed in here, contact me. I am happy to feed you whatever information you're seeking. But as in regards to what you should do, I think you should research and you should try to get health insurance because it's the devil without it.
Thank you, Father Time. I appreciate that. I really do. I really, really do. Yes. And these are old videos. This is a video from almost 10 years ago now. I'm reviewing it because it's the very first video I ever put out sharing why I was going to start my channel. So thank you for listening tonight, sir. I very much appreciate you being here.
So my video is like 30 minutes and 30 seconds. 32, 33. Probably sucks. I'm sorry. But I hope I hit a nerve somewhere in the galaxy. I feel I have to do this. I'm a vegetarian, like I said, so I'm going to be posting things about proper ways to eat, at least in regards to what makes me feel better. And as I go through this journey of disability land, which I've already approved,
And I've thought long and hard. Do I release this journey part of me applying for help with medical? Do I put it out there? You know what, folks? If you have a problem with it, seems like it's a bigger problem than me. And I'm not the only person that's going to trigger you out there. So I worked a job, many jobs, since I was 14 years old, paid tons into the system, and never was an SSI recipient. I have not been, except during Katrina, a food stamp recipient, and never once have I had food stamps, except WIC. I have had WIC for my child. But besides that, folks, I grow my own vegetables, I buy my own shit, and I don't want any disrespect. So if you are going to come to my channel and be disrespectful, you will be removed. Otherwise, I feel like some of the helpful information I put out will help others feel less alone and to know that, yes, your journey is important just as much as mine was. Disability is not a fun thing to go for. It takes away a lot of your self-respect if you don't have people in your community who are reminding you you are a person and your life is not over because you struggle to hold a normal job. So facts are, I don't monetize my channel, but will in the future. But currently, I have other resources of income, and it's none of your guys' business to disrespect me for that. I've been selling on eBay for over 10 years, and with disability, as you guys will learn through time, as I've shared over the years, you can make a certain amount of money on the side. So with that being said, the rest of the comments, please fuck off if you're being disrespectful to anyone else in the comments who may disclose they're on disability as well.
it's a complicated situation. And I absolutely hate that I'm on it, but I absolutely have to be on it because the time comes that I may need a liver or the time comes that I may have to be hospitalized. That needs to be available for me. So health insurance is, in my situation, impossible without security. So I'm learning how to do that too. It's really tough, I know. I really do know. I've cried many times and dropped to the floor. I absolutely know. I'm going to post this, and I'm going to really hope I don't get any hate mail. And try to understand that I pause a lot, and that's because I'm really not sure how to properly compose all of my thoughts. Because, God, this world's so evil. And so, evil is the wrong word. This world is harsh, and this world lives in bubbles. Each of us live in our own little world bubble. And that bubble consists of what we know, what we feel, and what we believe in. That truth that is us, okay? So, I only know what I know, and I'm always open to learn. So, I look horrible. I really do. I hate this, but throw that in. I look horrible because I've been crying a little bit today. I don't even know if I want to talk about that. Yeah, I went to my grandmother's funeral on my mom's side, so that sucked. But it also was quite incredible because it was a Catholic funeral, and I'm not Catholic. I never have been. We grew up non-denominational, and holy roller. That's the key word. If you know what that means, then it explains a lot. I'm not quite that person anymore. I think I've evolved into a pretty realistic thinking person. Realistic in the sense that if it makes sense, then I'm gonna give it a whirl. I do not believe in aliens per se at this point, but I don't think that it's not possible. I just think I believe in dimensions. I believe in energy. Energy is my religion, if you want to put it that way. And synchronicity.
I think it's funny because a few of the videos I reviewed today actually did reference me saying, I don't believe in aliens. So I'm sorry, Marie Darrow. I wish I did believe in aliens. I'm sorry, UFO fact or fiction. Is it fact or is it fiction? That is the question, sir. But I think I'm open. I think I can give it 10 more years and I might be into aliens. What do you guys think?
And manifestation, I'm really believing in that lately. And I don't really like the term psychic because I think psychic, because of my upbringing, has a really stinging sound to it. Like, oh, demonic, you evil person, you are thinking of blah, whatever, So, no, I don't really like to think of a psychic situation. Clairvoyance, intuition, empathy, whether you want to squeeze those all into that little box and I'm in denial, okay, sure, I'm in denial. But psychic isn't really the word I want
to. Ooh, I like that a thought. I love that a theory. I'm going to Google that soon. Aliens or demons? I think Bigfoot's a demon alien from another planet that's been like, zoop, like Star Trek. Zoop, he's in the forest and he's running, hitting trees. Like, bring me back on the ship. I don't know. I wonder about all that. I think that aliens could be lizard people, the reptilian thingies, like demon reptilian crawly things, that we see on yeah. Another subject, another day.
to associate with, because I think psychic itself, it's like a medium. Medium equals psychic to me. And I think that I have some medium qualities in my life that proven to me quite literally in color form. I don't mean like a ghost in my face, but certain times things have happened. I mean that I am very visual, so I have a lot of weird visions all of the time, and it blows my mind, and I don't like it. And I've done journaling, and that freaks me out because it always comes true. And the only thing I've never done is videoed my thoughts and desires, and like down to the scary shit. So, it's not like this is like I don't want to say it's a vlog per se, but then if it becomes that categorized, fine. I'm not trying to be all fancy. I've lived that life, and it exhausted me because I can't be that person. When I was 19 years old to like 22, I could run in circles and I drank if I felt like it, which was stupid because I'm terminally ill with a liver disease. If you want to say that I've put myself in that position, fine. I did it for a few weeks around my 21st birthday, and no, it has not affected the rest of my life this far. Kiki, what are you doing? Come on. I have a dog who is a pain in my butt. Anyway, God, I don't really like this video. I don't even know. I'm going to have to redo this. This is horrible. Or I'll just post it. I don't know. So what I'm trying to say is, vibrationally, I'm trying really, really, really hard to figure out where I need to synchronize myself with the right people. I feel so cheesy saying that, but
If that doesn't show my anxiety as a 26-year-old woman spilling her beans, I don't know what does. I'm actually really proud of myself because that was not easy to share any of that. And that was the cleanest way I've ever shared it. You know, at the earliest point when I had no answers. Like I could been when we talk about overtime, and even when Marie Tarot joins me again soon, you know, in reference to where I've come to where I am now, as you guys can hear from my tone of voice, I have a voice now. I don't fuck around. I've had so many different moments in my life. I had a child with no pain meds and nobody there that should have been, which is really sad. So, unfortunately, I'm doing the best I can with the life I've been given, but I don't complain about it. And I laugh at life a lot more than I poke fun at the things that, or poke my finger at things and point my finger at things and say, I wish this and that and you and that. And I mean, I think there's action and reaction, you know, there's consequence and karma. All of this is real. And then there's these lovely things called synchronicity, where that's just where life brings you down this weird little journey. You feel a little twitch to do something. Maybe it's get an ice cream cone down the street and you get hit by a car. You never know what the hell life has for you down the corner, if you know what I mean. So, like, we're literally, me, you, and the rest of the folks, everybody living in this world is just trying not to get hit by a car, getting an ice cream cone down the corner. You hear me? That's it at its finest. So, whatever the struggle is and the journey that comes with it, I do think it has a deeper purpose for our own souls. It is the journey. And I do think sharing it, as I said in this video, I agree with myself way back when that there was a bigger reason. It never always makes sense, but it's part of the journey. It's just part of the journey.
it's just like, you know how you just know something and you feel like if I don't just let it go, it's going to burn and burn and burn till it's gone. So I'm letting it go. I'm going to let it be, it's be, you know? So there's so much I'm going to talk about in here, that's for sure, because my mind's spinning. Sometimes I'm very, 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 very fast talking, and if you don't understand something, I would highly suggest you comment. If you think I've overstepped my boundaries, tell me what you think, but I'm probably not going to care. I don't know. Okay. I hate this video. I'm going to just say that. So I'm going to label it, I hate this video, but this is me. Hi. All right. And lots of tags. Have a great day or night or whatever's going on in your life. If you're also interested in astrology, watch my channel because I'm going to be posting all kinds of stuff because I feel like I need to. So I'm basically exerting me to the world and all of the things that I've experienced. And today at the funeral, I had a relative, a younger relative, a cousin, okay? It's like first cousin, who is a few years younger than me. And we both grew up in the same kind of households of super, super, super Christian, you know, anointing the doorways, and sage could be demonic, and you should never praise.
Why is sage demonic? Can somebody please fill me in on why that is? But I have heard that. I have heard some arguments with that shit. Oh, don't sage. You're doing pagan witchcraft. Witchcraft. What the fuck? Burning of the bush. How do we know it wasn't a sage bush? I thought it was an olive tree that supposedly, well, I don't fucking know. Either way, why is sage hated on in the religious sector?
Crystals, and I don't really do that. I believe that they affect your energies, but I don't praise them. But both of our parents, who brother and sister, direct family, both of our parents went through that path of like finding themselves, and I'm sure that's exactly in so many words where I'm at too. But my cousin basically had came to me and said he felt that, I understood where he's coming from with the way that I've looked at life and, my circumstances. I'm literally in the funeral hall explaining to my entire family that I'm ill and this is who I am and I'm sorry and yes, I use cannabis. And, 20% of them got up and walked away. But they didn't turn around and say, you whatever, which I respect that. And, there will come a time in someone's life where they may need to use marijuana. So,
See, I think what I remember exactly happened, which is really crazy, I did not share the story. So here comes the tea. Here's a little tidbit to the Misty C tea time. So at my grandmother's funeral, as I'm walking into the hallway, which I wasn't exactly the closest with my grandmother, I was close, but not close enough. She had a lot of resentment, was way more closer to my brother. And so at this funeral, though nobody was upset that I was there, it was more so that me and my brother were treated like the black sheep. At this point in time, my brother had been missing from that funeral. And so when I showed up to have my cousin sit next to me and chit chat with me about just different things I'm about to touch on, it was interesting because when I walked down the hallway to sit, there were people mocking me and my family saying, "Oh, there's the pothead. There's Cindy's pothead," meaning my mom's name was Cindy and she was a pothead herself too, is what they claimed. And "Oh, there's Cindy's daughter," which is freaking ridiculous that my own family at a funeral thought it was appropriate to point us out and make us look bad. My cousin came over and was like, "Shut up, everybody. Come on now. This isn't the time or the place." That is what happened. It was just ridiculous.
so I have to say that, if you use marijuana and you use it to get high, it's your prerogative. It's not mine. I don't even like that. In fact, if I smoke too much, I don't like it. I have to go to sleep. So that's not good.
I'm still to this day. What area of the country do you live in where pot is controversial? I used to live in Louisiana. This is recorded in New Orleans, Louisiana, but I had lived in California for over 9 years. Now I live in Colorado and have over 10 years of activism underneath my belt. This video right here is actually 10 years old. That is why I am going over this, because it's old school information, which Louisiana just passed their medicinal laws this year. So it's exciting to see after 10 years, finally, there is change. But at that time, I was literally being mocked by my own family at a funeral when they were going to go step outside and smoke cigarettes, chain smoke it one after the other. So at that time, you got to fit in with your family. Can I have a cigarette too? That's how it was. Like, we got to fit into this moment. It was horrible. Horrible.
And as in regards to cannabis doesn't do anything and that it's a big fucking scam and that, it's the government or whatever you want to fucking tell yourself, sure, okay. That works for you, but not for me. And for all the other people and all the other people in pain, that doesn't work. You've taken everything over the counter, everything from your doctor, and you've done everything you can possibly do, and all of a sudden you have relief, and then every time that you need relief, you have relief, and then you tell yourself it's not real. It's your problem, because there is always a solution if you're willing to give it a try. So
And I think that is a statement that can be really, really, really digested well. First off, in the cannabis community, you should always start small, microdosing, and build up to what works for you. Not every strand works for the same person, not every amount, percentage, sometimes the same exact genetics in a different breeder, different grower, different complete seed, different family, down the line cousin. Genetics are genetics, but every person is affected by things differently. At this point in time, I was pretty educated about THC and CBD and whatnot, but not exactly. We weren't even like making like hash and dabs a big thing at this point in time. Where I lived was Southern California, where I had access, and then moving back to Louisiana and dealing with all of my health problems and trying to get doctors. Because believe it or not, people, Louisiana is known for having fantastic doctors, which I won't say they don't, but there are some bad surgeons out there. We can raise our hands to that in my circumstances. But otherwise, I feel like if the cannabis community and the South, all of the South, Florida to Texas, all of Texas, could really embrace the cannabis community, we could really do things in this world, people. I'm just saying, give it some time. We're all going there.
One of those people that said, I don't want to have to use something. I don't want to have to depend on something. And I do depend on it because it is what helps me eat, and it actually keeps me out of pain. So my life is a little less stressful and a little less painful for about an hour to 3 hours, depending on how big my meal is and the circumstances I'm in. So you can judge me or you can relate. It's really what it comes down to. And if you're not sure and you're going through something in your life and you're trying to make that decision, I respect if you'd like to speak to me privately. I'm happy to do that. I love Skype. I am not a doctor. I am an artist, if you want to put it in any terms. I am a professional patient, though, so I can tell you how doctors are going to treat you. The emergency room may treat you. I'm that patient that goes into the emergency room and says, I want no pain pills. And after about 4 hours, they basically decide for me and give me an injection of something, and then I'm suffering for 3 or 4 days because my body cannot handle the medications or the synthetic drugs they've pumped my body with, because my liver goes into shock.
I can't remember if I talk about it in this part. I hope I do. So I'm just going to probably be regurgitating information in this moment. But it needs to be said while it's clear in my mind. The one thing that I have found with my body since probably the age of like 9 years old is that even Tylenol affects me bad. So it was like night and day when I started using cannabis for medical reasons. I was like, holy crap. Like, and it's true to this day. I mean, if you're just popping in, please go back to the beginning of this video. Make a lot more sense. If you're just popping in, we're at the end of this video. But it's one of those things where, like, when you go through time and you're like, well, but I know what a good day feels like when I'm not throwing up or having a headache or having, like, I wouldn't say it's called withdrawals, but let's just put it like just saline. I get blisters in my mouth every single time that I go to the emergency room. My whole mouth has blisters inside because for some reason I have a reaction to the salt. When I have blood drawn, my veins roll, so they're usually like massively bruised, like it's bad. Okay, I've had them even try to use my foot one time, which was like, please stop. So, and then like the Zofran, I think that's the one, the anti-nausea medication. That's the worst one out of all of them because they've given it to me, had a little cup, got me the water, and I've like taken the pill and thrown it up right in front of them. They're like, oh my God. So there's other shit they can give you, like I think it's omeprazine. I think that's the one. It's another liquid version. They can give it to you in an IV to stop vomiting, but my body just doesn't seem to respond to that. So, over time and sharing here on my YouTube channel, the edibles that I had learned how to, like, what it really boils down to is microdosing and mixed THC and CBD and CBGN and all of the things, mixed dosing and learning medications and finding brands that work for you. You guys have to be your own advocate when it comes to medications for cannabis. You really have to learn your body. So some medications even can, like, there are certain strands of cannabis I don't really like smoking anymore. Like, I'm like, please don't. Uh, you know, fuck, what is one of them? Sweet tooth. I grew so much of it. It doesn't even work for me anymore. It's like smoking a cigarette. Like, It's just an oral fixation at this point. It's not working for the pain or for hunger. But, maybe something like Super Lemon Haze may work every single time, even if it's basement grown. But then there's a whole retrospective when you are finding consistency in your body, not flaring up from its disorder, whatever they may be, even depression, let's put it like that. If you had consistent days and weeks that roll into like months of not having your ailments, that's called living, guys. And so when the naysayers of the community stop us who are trying to find ways to actually want to live again, because our consistency of the doctors not having answers and us not even knowing what to do. And let me tell you, I used to pay like $48 in California for like an eighth, which now that would be a laughable. I get like a half ounce for that, if not more. So it's crazy that like I can remember being like, I understand what someone who maybe has diabetes and can't afford their medications. It goes hand in hand with us in the cannabis community. We've all either been trying to grow it our own and make sure we have supply for our quality of life, or finding and learning strands. It's self-education and it's old world school. Wise knowledge shared amongst each other. So why have I been here so long? Because it felt like hell. I'm not even sure if I'm going to learn something, but if I document it, I might. If it's my chronic chronicles, you know what? I'm chronically ill. I use chronic to not be so miserable. And there's just so much that you guys wouldn't believe in unless you saw it. So that's pretty much, this is the core of everything. Oop, let me catch
A
up
lot
on
of
your
my art.
comments. Thank you, Father Time. That's pretty shameful, throwing stones for smoking THC at a funeral. There were like 5 family members who stood there with the cigarette pack in their hand yelling at me. I was quiet. I was as stoic as I could be for my grandmother's sake, which I could see her fucking coffin from like a corner view of the eyes. And I was like, we don't need to do that here. I'm sorry everybody feels like I'm a pothead. That's not what this is. I'm actually 85 pounds right now. If you'd like to be upset with me for having to smoke so I could actually stand up to get here, well, I'm sorry about that. That was part of the conversation. But yeah, it's quite alarming. Over the years, they've just fallen off, and I don't really care because I got nothing but life to live. The people saying they can't fathom depending on something to make them feel better are also ones believing in deities and shaming those who don't know the truth. I live in MAGA territory, and the level of absurd thinking is thank you. It's hard. It's hard for me as a person that's just here, not even like giving a political view, which I will, because I have content that is shameful when it looks back on like when the Obamacare was going on and stuff. And see, I was a proponent and raised to look at the Obamacare, not Obamacare itself, but some kind of national health care, universal health care for some people out here. Nobody needs to lose their teeth and struggle or have infections, and everybody should have glasses if they need them. And if you do have a bullet wound, you shouldn't have to worry about going to the hospital. And listen, we've gotten further in time now. How many years ago? 10 years ago, we never had to worry about like what's going on with women's rights and all that other shit. It's crazy now. So I can't wait for us to look back on the past and take a step back, which I'm as eloquent as I could be back then, to even being unsure if my statements were universal to other people's thoughts. So I appreciate you guys saying that. It's heartbreaking to see in the situations of what they are back in the day versus now.
Is intuitive art. Like, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to explain, and this is what I'm telling you. I've done so much research, and there is not anything specifically online that says specifically why an artist feels a burning desire to release something artistically. Now, you can call that divine, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but I'm just telling you, I'm trying to be that voice because there's nobody talking about it. Like, where is all this shit coming from, and why is it in my head? Like, why do I feel such a fucking burning desire to release some stupid, crazy painting or drawing or jewelry, or like, what is going on? And I don't like it because
I find this so fucking cute. Anybody else out there, an artist? Raise your little pretty hands. Let me see them. I want to see your hand. Do you do something artistic? I don't even care if you kick around some metal and spray paint it. Stick it in your garden and call it like a forever garden. Whatever it may be. Yeah, bitch, I hear you. I'm speaking for you. We're all out there like, why are we doing this? I don't know half the time either. It's always nice to find out later. And you're like, I kind of like you. If you could stand next to yourself as an artist and be like, you're pretty cool, man. That's what it is. It's actually my YouTube channel. I have been so scared to show my art. Do you know, guys? That's the one thing I don't show on here much. I speak about life. I speak about situations. I absolutely talk about sex and life. But when it comes to my artistic stuff, even my music a little bit, I hesitate. And I apologize. I will work on that. It's hard. You paint landscapes. Awesome, Father Time. Thank you so much. Well, you'll have to share some with me. If you would like to be featured, any of your favorite pieces, send me it on Instagram at MsChronicChronicles. Yes. So, I find that adorable though, because I feel like that is such a fucking cry from the truth. Us creators out there were like, what the fuck, man? Why am I having to do? I don't have the money to buy spray paint, but your brain's like, you need it. Why do I need spray paint? You're gonna make something amazing, and you're like, really? That little tiny voice. You're like, see, and when I paint it, Father Time, I paint it so much that I was like, I don't have any more wall space for this shit. You need to stop wanting to paint. But it was like, ooh, I like this paint. I like this paint. Like, and then whereas crafters or artists, you're like buying supplies and you're like, maybe I do have more room for more paintings because I got all the shit in a box now. This is ridiculous. I know you yarn people, you beaters, you scrapbookers, you. I know you know the feeling. It's terrifyingly annoying, but it's tantalizing. I've been thinking about making peacock. Are you ready, people? I want to make a peacock Christmas tree. I think that'd be gorgeous. Like build it up. I don't even know why. I just think I want to keep it year round. Yes.
because it's just as intuitive as me hearing my friend's brother's last breath and seeing him dead and calling her saying, you might want to call your brother. I don't know why. And you just met this girl. That's my life. So, and it was exactly what I just described. He was found dead in a chair, heroin overdose, and nobody knew.
That is a intuitive story that I actually have some like another, here we go. I need to have like a little soundboard going on in the background where I'm like ding ding ding. It's another intuitive knowing. So I over what was it, 2008? Okay, 2008 had a spiritual experience where I was just talking about earlier in this video that I don't like psychics. They freak me out. But you know what? I believe in them. And I'm probably one too. I hate it. I hate it. Anyway, I have on YouTube over the years, in the 10 years I've been here, tried to tell the story about this. And every time I do, so let's hope it doesn't fuck up this video right now. Oh God. Are you ready, guys? Every time my fucking video would mess up, there'd be a corruption issue. It's like this ghost does not want to be talked about. I'm telling you, people. I'm telling you. Anyway, it's true. What I'm talking about is a damn straight truth. That I had a friend who had a brother who died, and I had a vision of it all. All of it in color. I had never met him in my life. He came to me in spirit, told me shit I was not supposed to know about. I guess I was because he told me, but I didn't want to know about it. It was too real to be. It's too real. It's like the tapped on moment where you're like, okay, last person, lines closed. No more dead people. You can't come talk to me.
Things like this like I said, I come from a religious background. The crazy part is, I'm like, since day one, since I was a little girl, been speaking in tongues, strangely. When I was like 5 years old, my mother said that, I could tell her things and saw things, and that's all I remember is seeing and hearing and feeling and always thinking everybody else did, and, having this connection with God, and always rejecting the idea that Jesus was, woo! Jesus is, woo! For the prophet version, in my opinion. My opinion. That's not, I don't know. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I am totally wrong. Fine. But, I don't announce Jesus. I actually embrace him even more, because it's like, okay, all these people on YouTube, it's like the biggest life coach you'll ever meet. Jesus. That's the way I look at it. Okay, well then who is all the other people in the Bible? Like Jesus! But in their own way. They are their own Jesus. Does that make sense? Oh, God. God is the source, in my opinion.
Man, I agree with that shit, bitch. Drop the mic. Oh my God. He is the biggest life coach ever. Oh my God. I forgot about that. It's so true, though. And then everybody else, Moses, everybody, they were the underdog life coach. Man, they were. Fuck yes, they were. Life coach Jesus. Man, we need a fucking bumper sticker. I want to make a shirt. Somebody. I need to make a shirt. I'm going to put it on Amazon. I need a shirt with that. Jesus is the best life coach ever.
You can agree or disagree. I don't care. If you agree, great. Give me your input. If you got a better idea, great. Give me your input. I'm totally down. That's the whole point of all this, is that we're supposed to just be sharing. It's all here. It's all just feed it in. So that's what I've discovered in the last few years, since 2007. Like I said, I'm an artist, so weird thing for me. My whole life, it's like this, like right here. It's not the third, I guess you'd call it the third eye, I don't know. But it's like in my eyes, like if you were to close your eyes, it's right here. But in my head, like physically, like I close my eyes, I see this. I see a picture. What is the picture? A hanging, whatever it is. Oh, I have to make this. Oh, I see waves and a peacock feather. What the hell? Like, why do I see?
Wow, that's fucking weird, because I just said lately I've been having this vision of fucking a Christmas tree with peacocks, a wave. That's so fucking weird. Nope, that's true though. But I did make a painting with waves and peacocks too. It's totally, yes, insane. I'll post that on my Instagram. Very much cheers to you, UFO. Thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate you. If you're heading out, you have a great night. Hopefully you'll join us again soon.
See waves and a peacock feather, you start to do the painting. Oh, I see chakras. Oh, I see a cloud. Oh, that's what you're trying to tell me. That's how my work comes out. So you're going to see a lot of my paintings too. I've been on like this weird purging of colors. Like, I can't explain it. Like, the colors are in my head and they're blended a particular way. And I'm not like, it's not like color by number. It's so weird. It's like color by purging, like color by vomit. Like, I do paintings really, 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 really fast. But that's another thing. I've been feeling for a while that my paintings have to come out pure. And the messages that I see are pure, but not together. They're like puzzle pieces. So every single time that I'm working on a piece, it reads more to me, if that makes sense. I didn't go to school for painting. I took color theory, one class. And in fact, I took it online. And I got an A, but didn't even know how to use AutoCAD at the time. It's just, like, I can't explain where these things come from because I'm not a painter. I don't really even enjoy the repetitive motion of putting my hand to something. It actually hurts my hand. Like literally, it actually fucking hurts my hand. Hurts my back, my neck. Like, this is killing me right and along with my back and my butt and my knees and my legs. But I don't know why it's so important to even go there. Part of my purging of all this information to whoever is watching this is I feel like I'm supposed to purge it to whoever that person you may be is. Are you the same person? If you are, if you aren't, or you understand, I'd love to hear from you. I am looking for support, as in, I feel like there's some weird fucking connection with, if you're an artist, you're an empath, and you're ill. I want to hear from you. Excuse me. Oh my God. So in the meantime, this is 48 minutes long. I never thought this would be this long, but I feel a little bit better about every little tangent I've said. That's another thing. I rant in tangents. But I'm about to have a birthday, and I'm in the process of transitioning and out of a relationship right now, which I'm living with. So any video you see of me is going to be in a weird, awkward spot, and it's probably going to be really sketchy in regards to my situation, details about my relationship, and certain things like that, because I don't feel comfortable discussing any of that right at this time. Now, later, sure, we'll go all into those details, but as of right now, I think it's probably the best that I just try to reach out to like minds, and that's it. So, all right, I'm mumbling and jumbling. Now it's 15 minutes and a few seconds. So I'm going to let you go, but nice to meet you. Again, I'd love to hear from you, and if you're negative, I'll block you or delete your message, because I don't need that, and neither do the people that are going to be watching this. So have a great one, and stay strong, and remember that you're not alone. There are people probably exactly like me and you. So have a great day.
So yes, that is pretty intense. I'm actually really glad I shared that tonight. Holy shit, when it comes down to it, like, it's facts. True fucking activism. That's it. I haven't swayed from what I have shared over the years. I have a whole lot more that I plan to share with you guys. And I feel like the best thing to do at this point is just kind of get you guys excited and ready for the future. I mean, I don't know if I feel like, let me see. I'm not ready to get offline yet. If you guys are with me, you're with me. If you're not with me, then you're not with me. Let me pull up another video real quick. I feel like I can do it. I don't know if we're going to go that long, but we'll see what we got. Because why the hell not? That was actually really worth watching. I will say that shit for real. Okay, here we go. So, ER joke for healthcare versus, I don't know what this says. Hold on. For Obamacare living without answers. This is a pretty scary one. This is September 25th, 2012. But this is a upload because it was done. Okay. You know what? We might go ahead and watch this. This is the second fucking video I ever put out. And it's probably gonna, I think this is the one where I talked about the Louisiana healthcare system was like, so you smoke marijuana, get the fuck out of our state. Pretty sure that's what they said in so many nice words. I'm saying it nicer. Let's put it like that. Okay. Give me a second, everybody. I'll be right back. I have to click into my email to pull the video up. I sure hope. Okay, it is unlisted. Let's just put it like this. If I don't like what I'm hearing and I feel like it needs to be saved for another video, then we'll just do it like that. Otherwise, folks, thank you all for being here tonight. Okay. What is it called is pretty intense too, so let me grab that. Hang on. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Okay. Ooh, who knows what I'm going to say here. No thanks. I was gonna go to the relationship one, but I feel like I get a little too graphic. And I'm not gonna go there tonight. Hang on, everybody. Alright. I look rough and this is in color. That's terrible. Here goes nothing, folks. Here we go.
To my I wanted to share my lovely day today with you. As I said yesterday and kind of opened up the whole forefront, I woke up this morning in a lot of pain and ended up going to the emergency room this morning. And like it never fails.
Thank you, darling, for being here. Welcome, Loner Morrison. Welcome. I'm reviewing this last little 20-minute long video. We have went 2 hours, and I have went back to the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of the old dinosaur. And she was right. She had a purpose. She had a bigger meaning, and politics matter. But the rants that I talk about politics and the healthcare system, boy, girl, it will open your eyes. Let's go back in time to Obamacare days and wanting them to pass it.
It's a fight from the death from the beginning. I mean, when you go into an emergency room, you first off have to prove to them that you've even got an issue. And then they're going to prioritize you by your issue. So if you've ever dealt with the experience of the emergency room and having anything related to hepatitis C, to cannabis, or to requesting no narcotics, it's really hard.
Hey, if anybody in the chat is listening and you've ever went through your own experience, summarize it quickly and how many characters you can in your little chat there, and please share it in there, because oh my fucking god, dude, it was not long. Look how bad I look. Look at that tiny little fucking framed. I thought I had acne. I have real mommy acne now. And I am definitely a different version. I was very religious. So, girl, you get to see a little bit of my religious times and my cannabis woes in the South.
Because first off, you're going to a physician establishment where the primary care provider is what they're going to listen to. They're not going to make decisions for you. And if they are going to make decisions, they're quick fixes and they cost money. So I had an EKG this morning. I have zero explanation why they did that. I woke up, it felt like a Mack truck had hit me this morning. Went to bed last night with a migraine. So when I woke up this morning, that migraine was still present, plus my entire body from the tops of my head to the bottom of my feet were hurting this morning. So, I honestly have pondered a few times today that, maybe chronic fatigue is really what's playing into all of this stress, that it just puts me into this trigger of feeling like crap. But, because I had been to a funeral yesterday, I don't know. But anyway, the point of what I'm trying to say is that basically,
did you guys just see my freaking video not be happy? Isn't that interesting? I'm very curious about that. It just totally fucking blipped out. This is my channel. So YouTube, bug off.
it really sucks because I ended up leaving there. Went in at 9:45 this morning, and I ended up leaving at 3:30 this morning, or this afternoon. It's 3:55 right now, and I have like 4 prescriptions I have to fill, and I have no money to fill them. So that always is a lot of fun. I really asked, well, let's put it this way. When I was admitted initially, of course, you're in pain, so you're crying. That's really what was going on. So the crying didn't really help because they actually treated me more of like she wants something.
So I want to state right off the bat, in Louisiana, if you come in and you're like, I don't know what's wrong, I feel like shit. And then they're like, what can we do for you? And you're like, I don't know what's wrong, I feel like shit. They're like, what can we do for you? Well, I don't know. What am I supposed to ask for? Do you need us to write you something? No, I don't want any opioids or anything. Okay, so then why are you here? Because I need tests or something, because I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, in the state of Louisiana, if you're going to get any access or care here, we're going to have to just write you something. Otherwise, we're going to have to say that maybe we should just, I don't know, how can we help you, ma'am? You don't have health insurance. How are we supposed to help you, ma'am? The only way that we can really help you is if we write your script, because that's the only way you'll actually get something here, ma'am. That's exactly how they treat you, period.
I wanted to be admitted today. I really wanted to be in the hospital overnight today because it's like you don't know when your pain's important. You don't know when it is your ailments to the point where you have to be watched. It is like my hands right now, like it hurts just to even do anything strenuous, tiny. Like my steering wheel, it was so hard to drive back home. Now, everybody that's ever been to the emergency room, usually you're supposed to have somebody, a buddy system. But as I mentioned in my last video, I'm really independent. And, I guess part of my problem is that I don't know how to reach out when I need to. And I don't know how to decipher sometimes what takes precedence against me taking the reins, if that makes sense. So I just feel like so many people on YouTube I've seen, like, defeated as fuck because, like, I already knew before they took blood work, oh, everything's fine. Oh, but this is the best part. They tell me that I have a kidney infection right now. Really? I didn't know that. I really didn't, but I don't believe it, and I don't even know if this is what I'm saying. I didn't go in there because I had a kidney problem. I went in there because I feel horrible, and, the doctors are like, oh, well, then that's probably why you're sweating and vomiting. For the last 4 years? Okay, I'm achy. Maybe, I had nurses come in and saying, oh, you must have the flu. I had 6 blankets on top of me, folded over because I was freezing. And every time the coldness would hit my body, it was like, you might as well have taken a fish knife and cut my joints apart because it was just agonizing pain. And then I actually experienced today the feeling of your skin actually in pain, like almost like as if you were to put me in water and then freeze me. I don't mean to
Have you ever jumped into the ocean when it was windy in the cold? Ever been to the Pacific coast? I don't know, in fucking winter at night. It hurts. That's what it felt like. It was just the weirdest fucking the chills that hurt you that aren't normal. Like every fucking joint you can feel getting tight. It was scaring me. I was like, I think I need to be hospitalized. I don't know what's wrong with me.
hypothermic feeling, like a pain. I've never had hypothermia, but what I'm saying is it's almost like the skin is so tight from the coldness that if I relax, all from the tops of my head to the bottom of my feet, the nerves start flaming up and I'm in a lot of pain. Like it's so weird because I've heard other people say they're skin sensitive, but I bruise really easily. I cut myself often, and I usually don't feel half of it. So for my skin to be completely in agony and for blankets, just the heaviness of the blankets to be on me, that sucks. Like, I was laying in the bed going, I should be able to rest, but I can't because why? I have to defend myself. I have to protect myself. I have to be ready for that next doctor to come in and say, oh, she just wanted to sleep. Well, yeah, because I haven't slept in 2 weeks. Like, I haven't slept in 2 weeks for more than 3 hours. So this is a great point to start all these videos on because this is exactly what exhaustion looks like. Where you're just stirring around, finding some kind of freaking relief. And the worst part is the saline that they gave me, I already know. My mouth already feels really weird and, because it's all the sodium. They give you so much sodium. And I only had 1 bag done, but and then, they go into the, well, are you Are you here for your back? Or are you here for your stomach? Or what are you here for? I'm here for everything. Because I can't handle it anymore. And then, the doctor, I love, and I'm exaggerating, okay? I hope you understand this. I love the doctors who go, are you ready for me to speak? Are you ready for me to speak? Now, the whole way home, all I kept thinking about was that like fun little saying that, the customer's always right. Now, this is a doctor. I'm not saying that I know more than him, and I don't want to assume I do. I don't. I absolutely don't. But it's like you set up this environment without being honest. And if I play their game and I don't smoke and I don't do anything and I just sit home and let myself wither away and I don't take care of myself and I provide them what the patient they want to see, so then they'll pay attention because, I'm urgent by that point. This is functioning. This is actually what functioning looks like right now.
I feel like that's such a well said statement. All of us cannabis users out there, if we stopped using medicine, the medicine that worked when we didn't need a doctor's note for it, back in the days when it was the 70s, even nobody was stopping us and frisking us between our legs for the fucking dangerous little leaves that we were burning and smoking. It's crazy now. It's crazy. It's just fucking crazy. Like, just because you might have had a headache or a stomach ache or whatever else. Yeah. Yeah, let's let that sit in for a second.
I drove myself to the hospital and I admitted myself to the emergency room. And then when I went to check out, I checked myself out and I drove myself home. This is what functioning looks like. When you seek a doctor and they push you away. I'm like standing in line behind this guy checking out, and he's like talking about how he just had a baby at that hospital and that why is insurance not working, and apparently had Medicaid. I have Medicare because I'm disabled. And, I'm vamping for that little conversation with the same lady because I'm in line, and only a few weeks ago I had received $4,000 in one emergency room bill from over 2 months ago, I believe it was, or a month ago. I think it was 2 months ago, but and so $4,000 I owe this hospital supposedly now because Medicare is incompetent. And I say that because the card they gave me is completely screwed up. There's errors all over it. The name's right, but that's about it. So the effective date is wrong. I've been on disability now for 1.5 years, so that doesn't make any sense. But my insurance didn't kick in until recently. So yes, I'm taking full advantage of the insurance. And that means the doctor bills that I cannot afford because my life has had to go in one fucked up direction. Excuse my French. I'm really sorry I curse. I curse when I'm angry, period. So, it's like the reason my mom died wasn't because of breast cancer taking over or because she didn't have the will to live or she didn't want to live. It was because she couldn't afford to live. And so my take on all of this is, obviously I'm talking about this particular person who was standing in line. He's telling...
I hope some of you guys understand where I'm coming from with that, and I am not going to be nice about it. A lot of people die because they can't afford to live. A lot of people unlive themselves because they can't afford to live, or the bills that they have take over their mind, take over their life. It's not just financial. Sometimes the health problems that people go through are so devastating to them financially that they don't seek any more help. And then what ends up happening? Well, to your best of your ability, coupled with magical thinking, anything could happen at that point. Like I said, we're all running around trying to get ice cream at a store and possibly going to get hit by a car. It's a metaphor, but it's a fact, So again, when I think about like how it's really unfortunate that we have to be social statuses and disenfranchise ourselves from the working class to even just have health insurance. It's real, people. I'm a walking proponent of all this bullshit where my health was so bad and so mishandled, and actually I have a malpractice, but I don't have a malpractice due to my spinal fusion error. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the beginning of this video. We discussed it in my previous video featured tonight. That just ultimately, I mean, this is the reality of what happens. People are put in boxes because we have to seek help somehow to get a will to live still. So at this point, I was trapped in Louisiana, but I was soon to be leaving. I had just found out that I was approved for disability and that it was actually effective for a year and a half, but they were not paying me. So it was all locked up with an attorney I was dealing with at this current time and trying to leave my ex at this current time.
Telling the woman, well, why are you needing a copay? Because they're needing a copay from him, or a deposit because his insurance isn't working. Now, the first thing he says is, oh, I should send this bill into Obama. And, of course, anybody in line who lives in America, who, whether you are for Obama or against Obama, you're going to have your opinion about this healthcare reform. And I personally, in my opinion, believe I think it is sneaky. I think we are going to see lots of benefits with it that will pull us in like a fish. And then you're going to see lots of problems. Now, I'm not a benefit junkie. I hope you understand this. I believe that if I was capable, I would be fine, but I'm not capable. So, and I actually like working. Like, the hardest thing for me is to be still, even when I'm sick, because it's like your mind space just absorbs all those thoughts and you just can't go elsewhere. So if I've got energy, I mean, like, even a little bit, I use it to create, because creating, I see something functioning, something coming from what I'm doing. Functioning is probably not the right word, but evolving. I see something evolving. So anyway, so this guy, he ends up, being told, oh, and I love it. I can give you exactly how it sounds. I'm now this woman, okay? I'm the woman who's behind the glass and giving him the bill. And her response was, well, I'll just disregard this bill today and you'll receive it in 7 days. And then at that point, you can call this number, which is collections. And at that point, then you can pay that bill. I thought he already had insurance. And I thought, you took it when he had his baby been born, but you won't take it now. Poor guy, I have no clue what the guy was in there for. I never saw him while I was in the emergency room, but it humbled me. And, as soon as I got in the car, I thought, oh God, I have to do a video about this, because it's common. It's a lot more common than we realize. I mean, I can remember my mother in the early well, let's put it this way. Okay. 91 or 92 is when I was diagnosed with HCV, which is hepatitis C. And like I've said in the past, they had ribavirin and interferon for the two treatments. Well, interferon is actually the most common as far as what I remember. I don't know about today. I cannot speak for today. And,
Sorry, guys, it's taking a minute. I'm going to let it speed up because it's angry and it's a roboto in my mouth. And let's get back to it working. I appreciate all of you guys being here tonight. You don't know how much I appreciate it. And all you new subscribers, followers, giving me a thumbs up. Appreciate your support very much. It's very hard to look at these videos, but it's also extremely liberating. I'm like, damn, I've come a long fucking way. You got to go back. You got to go back and read your journals, people. You got to go back and read those amazing letters that those lovers in your 7th grade class scooted through to another desk to you to remember who the hell you are sometimes. You know what I mean? Metaphorically speaking. I would never leave the U.S. for healthcare. But when I went the other day for a doctor, it looked like a third world country. It is like a third world country. People are living in, it's just so, it's not okay. Ugh, I'm not proud of our country right now, guys. I'm just not. It's very disturbing what's happening left and right and center.
Put your two cents in if you have more information than I do. I'm happy to hear, I do want to connect in that way. But interferon was a very expensive drug as far as I remember, but also a very accepted insurance drug. And ribavirin was even more expensive, but it weighed the options because supposedly you weren't supposed to have to take as many. So then the insurance companies were just as happy to get that one to you too. But you had to be an adult. So that meant you had to be 18 or older. Why? Well, because that's just the way it was. So part of the reason I have been untreated for 20 years and been suffering and seeing all these other things happen is because of insurance companies. So I can remember being sat down at Children's Hospital in Denver, Colorado. And if you're familiar with that hospital, it's a wonderful hospital. I have nothing but positive things to say about that hospital. I truthfully don't have anything negative to say about it. But I can remember being sat down at, I think I was 7 or 8 years old, because it was right after I relapsed. And they explained to me, a doctor sat, the little short table, little kids sit on, the colored chairs. I'll never forget it. It's a circle table. And I think there was Legos in the background. I don't know, but I was a child, 20 years ago. And the doctor saying, no, and I wasn't even familiar with exactly what the concept of sex or anything else was at that point, but just I understood what injections meant, which is just such a far extreme, but I can remember being told by the doctor, privately with my mom not there, that at some point I may have to discuss my illness with somebody, a loved one, a future husband, and you're telling a child this. And the reality was, it hit me. I knew what she was talking about. I knew what she was talking about. This, for the rest of my life, I'd be facing my skeleton. So I feel kind of defeated today. Like, I've got all these prescriptions and they're all a joke. And the best part was, and if you are a Hep C person, I love it. I love this part. And forgive me for saying this, but it is what it is. So the doctor says, and I'm covers up to the top of I was cold, like my nose was cold, my feet, and I could feel in every single joint where it was cold, like physically cold and warm on the leg. It was so weird. There's no explanation to why I was hurting that much. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, so the doctor's just basically like, oh, you just have a bladder infection and a kidney infection, and we can't give you any narcotics because you're saying you're allergic to tramadol, which tramadol is actually, it is a non-narcotic and it's a pain pill. And I don't know why. I took it after my surgery. I don't like taking them because I really feel like it's one of those catch-22 things. Like, I don't like the feeling of pain pills because it makes me feel sluggish. But I also don't like knowing that it's not doing shit. So I'm not saying that you're supposed to feel that like buzz from a pain pill. I'm saying you shouldn't have any pain. So it doesn't work for me. That means that it's nerve damage and other things too. So a lot of my pain isn't going to be solved by a pain pill. It's going to be solved by a injection, or a steroid injection to stop pain, or a chiropractor or heat therapy or something like that may help my pain. And that's it. That's all I know that helps, because it's like chemicals don't do shit for me. And anyway, the doctor kept interrupting me, and I just kept feeling like I said, if you listen to your patients, maybe you'll learn a new illness is out there. If you keep diagnosing.
Ain't that the fucking truth? If you listen to your patients, doctors, you might learn about a new illness out there. It's just the facts. The arrogant doctors out there that have this terrible bedside manner, I just have no respect for them. I just don't understand why it's like every other serious profession out there. Don't make attorneys look bad that are bad attorneys. Bad cops out there, don't be bad cops to make the other good cops look bad. You're making us look, And I feel like the cannabis community and the fucking pharmaceutical community and the pharmacies know what they're seeing with people who are, you know, even I've heard good and bad things about mixing ASA I can't say them right. I don't know the term, but the antidepressants and um dopamine receptor medications, that those even seizure medications actually respond better within combination therapy with THC or CBD use. It is known. So, and that's been now with time. But we as the patients had been speaking about this shit for the longest fucking time. It gets me so angry. This is why I'm really proud that there is fucking content out there that can prove consistency that cannabis has worked for me. In different forms, it works better. Flower more so than concentrates for myself. But edibles work with other things for some things. It's just topicals work good in other ways. Shit, and I'm a different person than everybody who uses cannabis. So it's experience, it's consistency of trial and error.
Diagnosing your patients before they've like given you all the fucking things that are going on, then how the hell are you supposed to do your job? And if a person's upset and they're reaching to you and they know, I knew how much money I was going to be wasting in that moment, because he didn't have the time to be a doctor today. He had the time to just tell me what was wrong with me in his mind so he could go to the next patient, because I'm not his problem in his opinion. Like, he didn't say that, but that was definitely the attitude. So, he walked out of the room 3 times while I'm talking to him. And at one point, I'm sorry, I got sick of it. I'm in between drowsiness from the stupid injections they gave me. My mouth was hurting from the saline. And he's telling me that this is all in my head and that it's a kidney infection. I've had kidney infections and I felt them. I'm not saying that he's wrong. And they also said a little kidney infection. A little bladder infection. Well, how fucking long have I had this? And so it just boggles my mind. I'm like, it's like running. You're almost to the finish line. You almost have something. Where did everything go? That's how I feel. Like, I cannot get my message to the right doctor. I asked the nurse when she was doing my blood pressure and all that, and the initial sticking the IV line in and all that. I thought, the last time that I actually had progress was when I demanded progress, meaning I refused to leave the hospital. I asked them to admit me, and I wasn't going to accept anything else. Now, they gave me the grand suite with the French doors, and I could move my entire apartment into that room. And I'm not exaggerating. It was crazy. It was depressingly crazy. But anyway, and that was that.
And I also got a $500,000 bill. No lie. I still have it as a souvenir. Man, that paper's expensive. A $500,000 I owe from that hospital stay. Just let that sit in. A $500,000. $50,000 of that 30-day stay without insurance. Just the saline was like $15,000. The medications and everything else was $50,000. Food was like $10,000. It's crazy. Every time they would do an injection to flush it to go in and out, I think it was like $40 and another $500 for the medication, which is just like, how is this allowed? It's allowed. It always has been. America overprices everything when it comes to drug prices. We're the worst country out there for treating our people good. And that's with time and lots of people talking. So when I recorded this, I knew shit would be different back then to now. Time's gonna tell. The only thing we've seen consistently change, pop up over and over and over, wouldn't you say, Ashley? Loner Morrison, is cannabis has been consistent in our country, saving people who cannot afford health insurance. Because shit, we can afford ounces after ounces, but no, honey, we'll never be able to afford the prices of health care out of our pocket. And even with Obamacare, most of us are not able to help ourselves. It's a financial black hole when it comes to health insurance and debt in America.
Huntington Hospital in California. It was a wonderful place in the sense that they did more than any other doctor, but they also reinstilled the reality that I have a problem, and it's not mental, it's physical, it's neurological, meaning my brain and my body are not working together. My blood is toxic because of the fact, well, not toxic, but can be toxic because of the fact that I have a terminal illness I have to deal with. It's like being dirty and never getting clean. That's kind of how it feels. And I'm absolutely at no point was that doctor kind enough to say, we're going to get this figured out, when you basically subject yourself to living as a poor person, a homeless person, unless you subject yourself to that point, which it's a pro and con if you're even going to be accepted and respected once you do go in. But unless you're starving and you look, starving for help, let's put it that way, and you look like shit, and there is something sticking out of your body, doctors don't care. I really am sure of that. They don't care. And it's like, I was thinking when I was driving home, like, what do they have to do? Research on what states accept sick people?
Let's just sit on that thought. And I have to read your comment. Thank you, Loner Morrison. I feel that, and you are right. That's why here, even though it's covered, because free health care, they don't want to do a lot of things because of the cost, which makes no sense. You have to take authority over your body, even here, and demand proper care and test, etc. Man, and if you choose to use cannabis, are you stigmatized in your country, even though there's medical access in, let's say, a broader retrospect? Because I find it funny. It's still like that, except in Colorado. I mean, listen, I'm like 45 minutes from another hospital that I wouldn't dare walk in there, even though I'm in a legal state. A legal state, people. I wouldn't dare walk in there and talk about how much cannabis I use or that I'm on YouTube or anything else, because motherfuckers judge you. The medical industry isn't allowed to keep themselves. I think that's what I said. Pharmacy techs and the outer spectrum of doctors. Let's say dentists, chiropractors, mental health professionals. Some of them do, some of them don't. But majority of them, other than like primary care providers, they're the ones that are anti. Not here in this state, but most of those other states that are Bible Belt are just completely ignorant to how helpful it could be to their area. Like, I cannot wait to see the news reports of WDSL TV, that's Louisiana's news. I can't wait to see these old ladies and everybody else like, man, I'm so glad they brought this shop to our area, because they're gonna record that. But they don't want to do it yet. They don't. And then when Mardi Gras hits and people are like smoking their joints away from the crowd in their little powwows because their kids are up over by the floats, like everywhere else in a situation like the Colorado atmosphere, you have your little powwow situations. You go to a concert, everybody's smoking together, and if there are children available in the crowd, then like the smoking crowds go, and we're reasonable, we're socially reasonable. It's like Louisiana could have really with their medical systems, with their high rain, with their deforestation, with all the fucking swamps and the hurricanes that happen. There's so much the cannabis industry is going to bring to that state and all the other states. I believe Mississippi even, didn't they go recreational? Not recreational, medicinal as well. So we've got Mississippi, which was the main state that had Mark Emery, as Ashley over here, Loner Morrison, can talk about. He was jailed at the same time me and her were friends, jailed in a Mississippi state prison for I think 5 years, maybe 5 to 7 years. I can't remember how long it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. And wasn't he, if I'm correct, jailed for selling seeds in our country, right? So here we go. Mississippi, the southern state, just finally got with the loop. Texas still isn't with it, but it's so hysterical. Like they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot for the medical reasons. The only people that are not really for this, and let's just be honest, open here, the healthcare industry that have a big hold over these states and have convinced the pharmaceutical industry that cannabis is a very big threat to their profession. Believe it or not, guys, Colorado still has plenty of people here who go to the doctor for a sore throat, and they don't just smoke to get over it, okay? So don't worry about your jobs, professionals. You'll have a niche somewhere. The cannabis industry can only really help people, not abuse you, pharmaceutical industry and professionals, maybe for your, I don't know, drugs that you sell, right, to them. And they get the pharmacy to be profiting from the insurance company paying for part of that illegal profit that is now the biggest problem in our country. Fentanyl, opioids, all of these problems here, honey. Doctors, pharmaceutical listeners, uneducated folks, could be solved by legalizing it in every single state. Let's make people make their own decisions for their health insurance reasons and financial. Like if you're able to handle your arthritis or your depression or your hunger problems with cannabis, and it's much cheaper, and you're not a wild fucking mess or malnourished because you only can't find the answers through your doctor. I mean, it's mind fucking blowing. It's mind fucking blowing. Sorry, guys. Rant. Okay. Screaming at the docs. Yeah, man. People die in the emergency room waiting here. Oh. Yeah, they do too. But you know what, Loner Morrison? They don't talk about it because it's written off as there's so many encampments and people who are homeless and people who just don't know how to take care of themselves. Mental health is really just the problem here. No, no, no. Has anybody really been honest with themselves about maybe their mental health issues? Could your mental health issues exist from you being in pain from maybe just as simple as a toothache, a footache, and a backache? I don't know. If you don't feel good, then you don't want it affects things. It's a layer by layer problem. And I feel like it's not cannabis isn't the only answer, but it's the way the doctors could work hand on hand. Luckily, I have a freaking physician here who I love, is very open minded, and respects all of my medical decisions, and I can be open with her. Because guess what, guys? If you can't be open with your doctors about what you're using besides the, I don't know, antibiotics they might be giving you, or who knows what they might be giving you, okay, and make a conscious decision for yourself of what, like CBD products can affect the pharmaceutical side of things. And now over time we figured that out. It can also irritate or enhance mental health drugs. So it's like even sleep medications too. So it's like I wish we could have doctors that had even more knowledge, could work 100% hand in hand with the cannabis industry, and eventually it will be that way. But right now, in this current time, it's pretty sad. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm catching up. I don't think you get stigmatized for cannabis unless it comes for having kids and getting CS. See, that's unfortunate. But I also don't think they know the medical benefits. When it comes to doctors, etc., in the mainstream, it's legal for getting high here. And there are lots of new finds now. Really interesting. Legal to form rules and penalties. Yes, I mean, that is true, UFO. You're not wrong about that. But let's put it like this. We could be a country. We could be state by state, make a choice to like kill our people like they do, and other locations in the country for drug use. It's unfortunate. And yet, cannabis is used in a more medicinal manner from the dawn of time. It's only recently in the last, I'd say, 100 years been stigmatized, or like we're going on 200, but unless almost 100 years, made to be this horrible nightmare of a substance where like somehow the Indian were running around in circles out in the desert. I don't fucking know. I'm being silly. Okay. So let me get back to your lovely comments here. Thank you guys for putting your input in. Exactly, UFO. Fact or fiction? Yeah, denial or dental is not covered here, and I know. Yeah, do you understand? That's so. Do you understand people die from heart attacks that are undiagnosed from sometimes infections in your fucking gums? Why isn't that taken importance? We hear this argument all the time. I'm going to go off on a tangent. We hear this argument all the time about how women should have reproductive rights, of course, and we should also have reproductive, um, like tampons and things like that, options to it. But why isn't it universal fucking law? We don't have access to toilet paper to every single person in the United States without having to go broke. And maybe one day feel as sad as having to, who knows what, wipe your ass with what. I mean, it's just called human decency. Are we not allowed to make human decent decisions for one another? I guess you got to live in the right place, be the right demographic, have the right amount of money, and really live in the right time, which we don't know if it's yet or was it in the past. It's sincerely crazy. Oh, soapbox. We just got a rant on, Loner Morrison. I try to stay away from dental problems. Yeah. You know what I've found? Tea tree oil is a beautiful thing. It really does help with infections if you ever get them. When you used to smoke weed at a concert, they would tell you to stop or kick you out. Now they're fine and you and oh, they fine you over a what? That's crazy. I don't think I've ever heard like here it's just not like that. Like it's really not like that. I'm like thinking, where would it be like that? New Orleans is the only place I can really say if you're like being a complete lunatic and thinking, I don't know. It's open, it's public, but it's not open in public. You got to be a smart person with an intuitive being, like eyeballs all over your head. I don't know how else to say it because it's a different thing. Like, and I say that in the kindest way because like the South in general, like I feel for anybody in Texas, whoever gets caught, because in Texas, the fucking jails are all fucking privately owned. Most of them, if any, every county's going to have a privately owned jail in some way, shape, or form. That pay for profit kind of fucking jailing inmates for the silliest things. And in Texas, it's gonna take a long time before they actually, I don't know why. They're open to the hemp industry, but they're not open to the to the THC industry. And I don't even mean for recreational. I mean, like they are doing research in the state, but the facts are facts. Yes, it's on the ballot over and over and over. But there's so many people who it's like, I don't even understand it. It couldn't be oil completely. I don't understand what the fucking problem is. They have such a large amount of land. It could make so much happen. And even hydroponics in buildings, you don't necessarily need land. You just need space. It's either go up or go wide, and the amount of water you can get. So and medication wise, like there's even building resources. Like we could say Texas could be the manufacturing of hemp industry and like, but maybe offer medical access for the people because that's like a large demographic. How many people in Texas, and I'm saying Texas because it's a good example, how many Texas are alcoholics or meth heads or whatever else, just because they're not one to go to jail for cannabis. Alabama, I think it was like 30 freaking years mandatory. It used to be. I know that, like I said, now they have, it's going to be a slow process there too. Like even Utah, it took a long ass time. I have good friends here on in the community who I've seen over time. It's taken a long time before it was actually put into place. So like in the meantime, people are getting sicker. In the meantime, people are suffering. In the meantime, people don't have the skills capacity. And all these states around them are living their best life, maybe paying less, maybe not needing to go to the doctor, maybe living, maybe starting businesses, maybe having the energy to do things, maybe just seeing life completely different because they were able to get rid of an ailment. It's just like that, guys. It's sincerely. I just, Loner Morrison is here to a witness that I have over time dealt with some complete lunatics on YouTube who did not believe in what I was sharing, which is just education and a perspective, okay? But I can say with true heart, I've had nothing but like-minded souls find my channel. I respect everybody here, as long as you respect me. You don't have to have the full kind of belief systems I do. But then again, if you don't understand, educate yourself before you come with uneducated thoughts. Because that's the thing. I feel like a lot of these states that haven't taken the initiative to really go, I mean, they've seen these other profit margins that are happening in these states. What was it I heard the other day? Is it Michigan? Um, they give all of their cannabis money. Are you ready for this, guys? To the vets. So it goes back into the hospitals and into the programs. How is that? I think that was the state. I can't remember if maybe it wasn't. But like, how can that not be a great thing? Like, we're giving the money from the cannabis industry in Colorado to the school systems. I can tell you, all the schools in my area are brand new and well equipped. And what they do with their money overflow is they offer food to the community. So they give it right back. Things are going to spoil. If they order tons of food, they have a reason to donate it to the community. It's fantastic. They're feeding the community through cannabis. It's so crazy. And tax dollars and building roads, because most of, just like oil industry out here where they put trees back in the ground in Colorado, the cannabis industry often donates and adopts land and roads and things like that. So it's wonderful to see that, listen, Colorado has tourists that are bringing their money here. That money goes right back into literally feeding our people and making sure the roads are nice and easy for all of these people to see. Instead of like a completely destruct view of like shitty roads, you know what I'm saying? Uneducated, dilapidated schools, unpaid like they fix roofs and construction. They're not just putting the money back into the school system. They're not paying teachers like large salaries with this money, guys. They're literally making sure the kids see an effect of the cannabis industry. Where one day, guess what? I don't know, maybe 12 years from like their first grade year, they go and work in the industry and become well off and have a family and secure their life. And guess what? It paid for the shutters on their school. Like, it's literally like that, guys. So how could Texas, with its demographic of space, not see that as a positive? It's horrendous. It's eye-opening.
And then these private hospital things, that just blows my mind because, the woman who was explaining that my insurance is all weird right now and I'm getting bills I shouldn't be getting. I should just send them to the state or SSDI, excuse me. That shouldn't have to happen. I shouldn't have to do everybody else's job. Like, what person is sitting around not doing their job that I'm obviously paying lots of money to? I don't know. And then all that's documented. That's the best part. All of the documentation where they say all my tests come back negative and that inconclusive to what is going on. And that I do have okay, that was the best part. I do have lots of health problems, but none of that's going to be solved today. Okay? That's exactly how he acted. So what are you supposed to say? Okay, as you're falling asleep because they just pumped you with a bunch of freaking fake stuff, you know? Like, I'm really tired. I'm really tired of all of this. Like, so I'm home now, and I'm going to try to wind down, see how I can get comfortable. It's a freaking lost cause half the time, but I don't know. I want to be positive and I want to be hopeful, but it's like, what are they going to recall fibromyalgia, hepatitis C, anxiety disorder, and IBS? Because they're just too tricky. We don't know what we're doing. Not us. I'm talking about doctors. It can't be real. If I can't see it, feel it, touch it, smell it, it can't be real. If I can't see it under a microscope, it can't be real. Oh, I don't understand the brain yet, but it can't be real. Fucking God. It's a horrible thing. So, I might post some more videos. I don't know, but I'm so tired. Anyway. All right, you guys, have a great day, and I'd love to hear your little emergency room stories or healthcare insurance stories. I'm sure I'm going to be able to add to this lovely little vlog. Anyway, have a great day, whatever that consists of. Have a good one.
Thank you guys for watching that with me. I think that was another juicy. I'm glad we followed it up with 3 tonight. I sincerely think I made some damn good fucking points. I'm sorry if it irritates anybody out there who doesn't agree, but it's my own experience. It's my own perspective. And straight up, like I said, since then I've had a lot more interesting experiences, but it's like, what have I seen? Progression in the cannabis industry. I have not seen progression in the medical field. Not with they're threatened, guys. They are threatened. It's really sad. I know a lot of people on welfare here go to the doctors, get prescribed all kind of pills, and they sell them for other drugs and alcohol and smokes, and because prescriptions are covered on welfare. Correct. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the literal doctors who are sitting here cross-eyeing at the drug addicts don't realize that they're literally the fucking drug dealers when we're looking at the backhand problems. And are we supposed to be mad at people who, this is the other problem. It goes hand in foot. It goes back to it. That if there's bad cops out there, they make the good cops look terrible, right? And it's the same thing for sick people who are mentally ill and abused, addicted. Whose fault is it? Maybe their own, or maybe a combination of hands. And so are we, me, you, all these listeners here, where is the responsibility? As the lovely Marie Tarot 504 has been asking over and over, and we're going to ask it again because that is the question. Is the addiction caused by the drug, or is the drug caused by the addiction? Is the mental health issue caused by the problem, or is it the drug that caused the what is going on? Is it the less of are we not listening, guys? Are these doctors not listening to us? Could they learn a little bit more if they maybe listened even to the worst of the worst cases of this? Does it have to always be transferred over to a, I don't know, mental health provider or a psych ward if someone seems a little off, because maybe it is more pain oriented, or maybe it is trauma based, or maybe it is PTSD and it's exacerbated to the point that now they're just homeless and they have a substance abuse issue. Like, it is, I want you on, Loner Morrison, to have this deeper debate in the future, because I know that you have a lot of points to add, and I think a lot of us are not thinking about all the other complicated issues. Who created these people? Was it their trauma in their life that created these people to be addicts, to use the doctors, to end up making addiction so big and prevalent and almost cheaper than using cannabis sometimes too? People are getting the healthcare industry to pay in America too, just like Loner Morrison brought up. That is a problem, guys. If we're able to sell drugs and use it as a form of currency, as it is and has been since probably the fucking 50s, because drugs have been around a long, long time. Long, long time. I mean, I don't think that there was like trading of leeches back in the day, but maybe, maybe that was a commodity piece. But drugs shouldn't be used as a form of currency, when it should be real cures, and acknowledging problems out there with the medical industry and, I don't know, pharmaceutical addictions are real, but we're not thinking about, like, where is the problem stem from? Not just the person who has the addiction, but where did the dealer start from? The doctor, sir, madam, and every other traumatic situation. So the dealer that offered the drug had somebody asking for it, and that's a fact. So I feel like bring up a lot of these points tonight, me being consistent on my fucking platform and honest on my social media, that I have been forced to use pharmaceuticals to make a point to be listened to. I have played the games and jumped the hoops, but what has worked for me? Cannabis and speaking the truth. I'm not going to stop coming up here giving the raw facts. I'm not exactly comfortable with sharing everything, guys, but I do sincerely appreciate everybody who's stayed with me, respectfully given your input. And honestly, guys, your experiences fucking matter too. So please leave comments, share out this video. I'm getting to your comments. I sincerely appreciate you guys so fucking much for being here tonight. You're right on a lot of things you focused on. Thank you, UFO. I want to talk about relationships and all that other fun stuff too, but that's another night, another moment. And we will, because these videos are going to tap into a lot of it. Some of these videos were the hardest things I honestly didn't know if I was able to do it tonight, guys. I'm really glad I got through it. It was like pulling a damn baby tooth. Kind of hurt. A lot of addicts of drugs. Oh, is that addicts? It's drugs are money. Yeah, man, it's not okay. I'm not okay with this. Fuck. When I was experimenting, laugh out loud, I would give my uncle friends 5 cigs and get Valium and right. Do you know it's a real fact that if it's available as like a tradable commodity, if it's a fucking any supply and demand, guys, we learned that in school. If you forgot, look around. Supply and demand. Why is meth such a problem? Because it's in demand. Why are drugs still all fucking everywhere? Because it's fucking in demand. Access is access. We're asking. Every state in the United States and lots of other countries are asking for safe access to cannabis, because we don't want, me and the other folks around me who are agreeing and shaking their fucking head and lighting their bowls, agree. We don't want to be part of the fucking problem. We want our own solutions. And if you know what, 5 bong hits don't work, it'd be no different than if 2 Tylenols didn't work for that same headache. You do the best you can with what you got. But if pharmaceuticals don't work for someone, then go a different route. Try something. And the only thing I can say to the people who cannot find access, I am a proponent of saying move or vote for it. Stand up. Start your own normal chapter It's necessary. Normal still exists out there, guys. They are communities that help get laws passed in your cities and state. I will put in the description below after this video some of the links that I mentioned tonight. I really appreciate all of you. You guys have been great tonight. I'm going to let you guys go to bed or wake up wherever you're at or drive from wherever you're going. Hit the subscribe button. Check out my next video with my lovely co-host, co-star, Marie Terrell 504. Check out her Instagram. List it below. And if you would like to hear this in the audio version, if you're listening on the visual version, check out, because there's also the terrible version of the physical face too, either or. But check out the podcast. All the links are in my Linktree. And until next time, guys, everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you all for being here. And have a good night. Bye.